All right. Ready?
Yep.
No.
Oh.
All right. We're going to wait until you're ready then.
Yeah.
Wow, I posted that in the entirely wrong channel.
Wait, what? What do you mean you posted it in the wrong channel?
So I post the link on various Discords.
What do you have the thing like you hit a button and it just kind of does that? Like,
When I preload all of them into the thing, and then when we go live, I just go through and zip, zip, zip,
zip,
zip.
zip, zip, zip. Okay, yeah. I
And
understand.
I posted it in the video game channel instead of the regular ass channel. All right, ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How's everybody doing? Oh wait. Yeah, fuck. I forgot we didn't actually
We actually start the podcast, not.
Yeah. Fuck. This doesn't bode well for this episode.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to NTR Radio. I'm Tom Forcenobus.
I'm K-Gods.
And I'm VZ Mark II. It's
been a little while.
Yeah, it has. We can actually say that this time.
Yes, delay on my part last week. I don't have to say.
21 days of being without NTR.
How did anyone ever survive?
Probably peacefully, if you take that literally. So, I'll be blunt. I didn't watch very much, and most of the things I did watch were not anime. So,
yeah, I
listeners are not going to be amused.
I got a little bit, but I'm not going to go into the usual season stuff because it's the same old,
Okay.
Everything's in that 4 out of 5 range.
Although I will say I am looking forward to next season.
Yes.
For one very obvious reason, if you know me. And if you don't, why are you listening to the show?
I'm also looking forward to something next season. But something else, and if you know me, you know what it is.
I haven't even looked at the next season chart yet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Let's just say more crack.
More crack?
Yeah.
So are we talking about the drug or butt crack?
Well, Strike Riches is the butt crack. So, but the other one is the addictive.
Is the clean cut kilos.
I guess, but
yeah.
we cut idols with other stuff, with fillers and
creepy fans that don't wash their hands.
There might be some residual left.
That's disgusting. Unfortunately, true. It's like that's not even a joke if you've been paying attention. Ugh.
That's dangerous.
Yes. But I have 2 things I want to talk about. Maybe 3 if we're good on time. But the 2 things I want to talk about is first off, I watched. It was all compiled as a movie. Gundam Twilight Axis.
A lot of people didn't like that.
It was actually pretty fun. It was short, but I enjoyed it a little bit. I like seeing UC's been kicking ass for me, surprisingly.
Yeah. I mean they've been on a pretty solid streak here.
Because and it's weird. It's not necessarily that I'm so much a UC fanboy guy, but it's just that AU. Well, I do like UC a lot, but AU stuff doesn't really do it for me as much. Not in the design department, but I'm talking about like in the story department.
That's probably because it's self-contained and it has to be completely in its own world. You don't have to. You can't reach back and pull it from previous installments, like, you know what I mean?
Right. You know, it's another reason, and this is gonna make me sound like an anti-moe person or one of those old school guys, but I like it. I like in the UC where there's a more like the character designs are more grounded in realism.
I thought you were gonna say it's more gritty.
Yeah, gritty too. Like you'll see older people. You'll see,
Like you'll see teenagers getting punched in the face.
yeah, that too.
Somehow there's something about that's appealing to people.
Right.
That appeals to Western sensibilities because you can't spank your kids anymore.
So the other thing I watched yesterday is the Non Biori movie.
I forgot they had a movie.
Yes.
I keep forgetting there was a second season of that. I really need to watch it.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Because I like the first one a lot. I like the kind of pastoral.
Sentai has a set that's actually just both 1 and 2 together.
Ooh, I might have to indulge.
Yeah. It was really cute. It was short too. It was only an hour and 10 minutes.
Since you've seen the second season, I have a couple quick questions about it. I'm gonna watch it anyway. I just kind of want to maybe get pushed a little in that direction. Is the backgrounds and stuff? Do they do the same sort of stuff?
Oh yeah. It looks just.
It still has that kind of there's farmland and woods and all that shit. Because
yes.
There's something about the placement of it, the ruralness of it, that makes it whimsical, I guess, almost.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. It's different. It's not like a cityscape.
Well, you would get a kick out of laid back camp also. Euro camp, because it has a similar feeling.
We got a funny comment in the thing here. The duality of VZ. He only watches gritty old people and moe blobs. Nothing in between.
No, but see, that's how I'm a true connoisseur. That's how I'm the Renaissance otaku. I don't just limit myself to one thing. Like, I get sort of pigeonholed into that. I only like ultra moe stuff, or lowly stuff. Yeah, and that's not true. Yes, that's what I like a lot, but that's not the only thing that I watch. I'm able to watch. I could go to watch an Iyachike thing, Slice Life, and then watch some hyper violent OVA where it's like blood everywhere. It's like
gore fest and all that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the Shield Hero 15-minute controversy is just that. Nobody's talking about it anymore. I mean, other than people actually watching the show.
It's almost as though there's a pattern to these things that it's very easy to recognize once you've seen it about 5,000 times.
Right. It doesn't help that it happens every season, just like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, last season it was Goblin Slayer.
Right. Well, see, now I got later on. Look at the chart.
Every season's had one of these controversies going
and
back.
It's always 15
last,
minutes.
Like almost decade.
See, I got to look at the chart later on and figure out what the next 15-minute controversy show will be.
Why?
Because it's
going to be over in 2 weeks.
I know.
I think he just likes sort of the game quality of it. Like, sort of like a bingo kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But it's never a challenge.
No, it's never. It's not.
Never,
it's just really to see what
you read the synopsis and you can tell it's going to be one of 3 things. Always.
Yeah, exactly.
It's as predictable as a Stephen King setting.
The one thing about the second season of Non Biori is they do a similar thing to, how in Hidemari's sketch they did a thing where it's like out of order.
Yeah.
Well, Non Biori has a similar thing that they do where it's the same timeline as the first season. So it's not like that the second season takes place after the first one. It happens interwoven.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like okay, so let me throw this out there and you can tell me if I'm off base or whatnot. So it'd be like if the episodes like this took place on Thursday, Saturday, and Friday, but the other episodes from the second season took place on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Exactly.
Okay. That's actually pretty clever.
Exactly.
I could see that being pretty interesting, but the problem is I'm gonna have to watch the first season again so it makes sense.
Yes. So you know what? I guess I'll bring it up. I wanted to bring up the next show, but I'll bring it up this one real fast. I saw what probably has to be the worst animated 80s OVA.
Most
All right.
okay.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm intrigued.
Okay, so there was this OVA. There were 2 episodes, but I'm really going to focus on the second one because that's the infamous one. The first one is just called Nora, and that was
Nora Roberts.
just Nora. I kind of forget because I don't remember anything from that, so it kind of tells you it was forgettable. But at least it was competently animated. The second one, however, both are from 1985, by the way.
Okay.
So really early in the OVA market, called Twinkle Nora Rock Me.
This sounds like a really bad hairband ballad.
Oh boy. Imagine, at least for the first 5 minutes, but interwoven later on in the whole half an hour thing or whatnot. If you can imagine nothing but keyframes. So there's no in-betweeners for the animation.
Ooh.
So does it do the queen bee thing where it's like really stilted?
It's just like, yeah, it's like barely any animated movement to what's supposed to be a scene that's supposed to be a high action scene.
Yikes.
It's hilarious. It's also very it's like a bunch of things that it would have been hyper cliched even in 1985, because there's like a bad guy bar, Mos Eisley's Star Wars. What else? Yeah, she's supposed to be this bounty hunter, but I think they made her also an idol.
Does she have tits?
No, there's no nudity or anything. There's nothing that's like.
I'm not asking if she was nude.
No, she. This is before like giving like really large breasts to characters or such, or even this was kind of before that era of like character design.
I gotcha.
But did something happen? All right, because the sound quality changed. All right. And then at the end, Cyborg shows up. Yes, that's Cyborg.
Okay.
What, from Teen Titans?
Yes. There's at the end. There's a black cyborg that shows up on stage with Nora and dances.
When you say a black cyborg, do you mean as in it's a black guy that is a cyborg, or?
Yes, it's a.
What? Okay.
But I will say the one competent thing about it, and I even downloaded it because it was the one thing that actually shows some sort of skill. The soundtrack.
Okay.
The soundtrack is actually where any talent that was put into this thing was straight up in the soundtrack, because nothing else.
Everything else is like 80s cliches in a bad way, I guess.
Yeah, 80s cliches, and just like how was this? We
saw Terminator.
How is this meant to be sold as an OVA? Because, and again, the OVAs were like more like passion projects at that time rather than.
The thing about anime, when you have still frames like that, I'm assuming that's what you were talking about.
Yes.
The thing about still frames in anime is it only works when you use it artistically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you use it for an effect or something like that. Otherwise, it just ends up looking really poorly done.
Well, someone uploaded it on YouTube, and I just recommend, you don't have to watch the first one. Just watch Twinkle Nora. I'll put it in the link later on or something.
I do not like the name of that.
It's one of those things you need to see at least once. Kind of like, even though I've watched it multiple times, Garzy's Wing. It's one of those things.
If there was ever an anime that perfectly encapsulates the idea of a rental.
But the difference is, at least Garzy's Wing has it has a name attached as Tomino.
Well, not just that, but it has one of those disasters sort of pinned to it that you almost want to see it just because of that. Like, hey, this is a really bad anime. You want to check it out? that I don't know how often that conversation ever comes up, but
yeah. So it's just I'm bizarrely fascinated, like that this thing came out. That like
great comment in the server here. Perfect for not paying money for on the back of the box.
No, yeah, great. Forrester says, just say Cyber nigga.
Something tells me that will get us kicked off of iTunes.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
No.
All right.
I can tell you from podcasts I listen to on iTunes, that's not going to get us kicked off iTunes.
I like what Zeke Freak says. They haven't invented boobs yet.
Yeah, in 1985, all pornography was flat-chested.
Well, it was more like the way Cream Lemon was, if you've seen that.
I wasn't referring to anime.
I know. I know.
I was referring to regular shit.
I know what you were getting at. No, but yeah, bizarre. I would. All right, so I guess that's it for now.
As for what I watched, nothing anime related. I did catch a rerun, and it's timely. I was channel surfing because I was bored and feeling like shit, and you know how that is. You just lay there and kind of like, I'm not getting up to put a DVD in. Yeah.
No, I don't know how that is, actually.
Okay, so you've never been that level of feeling bad and lazy at the same time. Anyway, I was flipping through, and I think it was on HBO or something like that, one of the millions of HBO channels, they were playing Mighty Ducks, the old Disney movie. And I realized that Jussie Smollett is in this movie.
Oh,
he's one of the kids. I saw his name. I saw his name on the fucking credits, and I was like, "Wait, nuh-uh."
That didn't age well.
Well, I mean, I guess getting your ass kicked on the ice is kind of similar to faking getting your no, it isn't.
That's like I had to do a double take when I saw Kathleen Kennedy in Jurassic Park. I was like, oh wait, that's right. She was there for a long time in the industry.
It's weird when you do that, when you'll watch an older movie and you'll spot somebody that's recently been in the news for something fucked up. It's like kind of like this R. Kelly thing. It's like, doesn't anybody remember the Chappelle joke about that? The piss on you video? I can't be the only one who remembers that.
Of course. The whole R. Kelly thing just broadcast, and not to get into the weeds about it, but it just proves to me that we don't consider celebrities or anyone involved with them to be real people.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some sort of like magical, Well,
no, it's like everyone involved's life is just like a TV show.
Yeah, it's very, very strange, and you couple that with the recent whole Michael Jackson thing, and we're not going to get into that too far, other than the fact that they fucked over a classic Simpsons episode. I honestly don't understand that. It's like, it's going to endanger our brand. How? He's dead, and your brand was already endangered a decade ago from bad writing. And relying too much on SNL, celebrities, and skits and shit. It's bullshit. What do they think people are going to see that episode now and go run out and start fondling people or some shit? I mean, I don't understand their point.
It's more like because it endorses someone that's like, you know.
Well, here's the great part about though. His name isn't mentioned in the credits because of contractual obligations. So his name, while he was the voice, and they actually make jokes about that in a later episode, they never actually mention it. I mean, in the actual credits themselves, because, like I said, it's something to do with contracts. His name can't be used or whatever. In any case, it's dumb. It's just part of unpersoning this individual. That's what it is. We got to erase this person now.
Yeah, well, it's reminds me of the Soviet tactic of like etching out the person that you like just executed.
Yeah, like they never existed.
Yeah.
Except that's kind of hard to do with somebody who sold an album like Thriller.
Yes, it's like it's not someone that was like a nobody.
Exactly. It's like, hello.
You're not gonna erase people's memories or so.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I don't think we should get too delve into this. But
no, but I figured it needed to at least be kind of poked at. Fucking Zeke. People might stop watching The Simpsons. Finally. Good.
Yeah. I heard a theory that would actually, not a theory, but an idea that would actually sort of help revive The Simpsons brand.
Why? Is that something we want to do? Like, is that something we want to invest ourselves in?
Well, hold on. Let me say.
Okay. I'm listening.
I'm not the series. I'm not. End the series and only just do movies.
Yeah, no.
No, that's too much effort. Just end the series.
Seriously. Or just make it up. Or if you really wanted to be
not my idea. That's what I.
Yeah, that's a stupid idea. In any case, if you really wanted to go out with a bang, just make an episode that's really fucked up and have it be the last episode.
And never air it again.
Yeah, well, not even that. But since it's the last episode, what are they going to do? You're canceled.
Real talk.
you can show anything. You can show fucking porn. Who cares? It's like, what are you? Oh, you're canceled. You're fired. It's the end of the fucking show. That's like being fired on the day you were going to quit.
That's like one of those "you can't fire me, I quit" things.
It's the equivalent of the Tamino Kill 'Em All, but like just.
Yeah, but he did what he did for reasons that revolve around depression and shit, not for.
Yeah, but he also did that as a way to like end the series when his shows got cut short.
I mean, there were a few of them that did not make it across the finish line. So, I mean, in case you didn't know how Brain Powered ended.
Anyway, that's going to bring us to the break.
Yeah, okay.
Keep it right here on NTR Radio.
And Zeke popped off in another good one. That's like getting fired the day the business is getting paved over for a parking lot. Yeah, basically. But it's true, isn't it? I mean, like,
no, you're right.
Like, it's like, what are they gonna do? Fire everybody? I mean, if they do something like that, it's the last episode. Who gives a shit?
Okay.
Maybe that's just because that's what I would do. I would just go completely mad with it, dropping cursing that they couldn't normally get away with it. Show smut.
Make an episode telling everyone they don't like to fuck off, and then end the show forever.
I mean, it would be amazing because, like I said, what are you going to do about it other than just not show it again? or cut it during broadcast. You know what I mean? Normally, you don't have that as loud.
Yeah, it's more difficult to manage the volume on the laptop. Because, like, to illustrate, right now I have the volume in Winamp at 3%. That's a 0.3.
Yeah. I was going to be a bigger smartass about that when he said he had an idea on how to revive The Simpsons. I was going to say, what? Hire the old writers that were good? Pretty sure Conan O'Brien's busy. People forget he was a writer on The Simpsons for a little while. I'm not repeating that, but yeah, that's funny.
The Notebook.
Nah, it's just a Vocaloid. I don't know what's worse about that. The comment that Zeke said in the server, or the fact that I was slightly doing an air guitar just there. Up tempo, I see.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna make you guys laugh here. Check this out.
I want to see the picture. Who's that?
Just some fat
Jesus
idiot.
Christ.
Some fat guy complaining about incels.
He looks like a pineapple.
don't know why that struck me as so funny.
It's like an overripe mango.
Let me tell you why liking lolicon is wrong.
That's not what I'm talking about. This is referring to Star Wars. Like Mark Hamill or whatever was having talking about some plot point, which I won't get into because, in case some rando that hasn't seen Star Wars.
I met a few people.
All three of you that don't own a TV or the internet. Anyway, yeah, this person was like, oh, this is going to incite the incels. This guy said that. This pineapple said that.
Okay. Ready on second segment in 3,
Yeah, I am.
2, 1. Welcome back to NTR Radio. So, on our previous episode at the tail end, we started to get into kind of the reasons that the convention scene is the way it is. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that for a while, a lot of the older anime fans basically refused to engage with the younger anime fans. So as a result, that created an environment that's less centered around anime as a medium and more centered at conventions, less centered around anime as a medium and more centered around the community aspect, which is why it was a big reason cosplay is so prevalent, is a big reason why a lot of the more social aspects of conventions are focused on over a lot of the more informational aspects.
Mm.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to really discuss a lot of this because there absolutely is a gap between the older fans and the younger ones.
Yep.
And it manifests in sort of odd ways too. I mean, when I first got into it, the people that were bitching are still here. By the way, that should tell you something. Like the people, and they just weren't doing it on the internet. They were doing it on like in magazines and shit like that.
Right.
And I know because I still have a few of those. They're buried somewhere. And the same kind of stuff, complaining about like pornography and everything else. And it's funny that these people didn't just leave because they clearly didn't like the direction it was going. And here it is, almost 20 years later or so, and they're still on that.
They're still here and they're still bitching.
It's really weird. And again, that's odd to me because now I've been into this thing for 20 years plus. And now people from my sort of demographic are the same old fogies. But they don't act the same that they did. They act sort of... It's different. I can't fully put my finger on it. Because it's not necessarily the anti-moe thing. There's plenty of people in our demographic that actually like that stuff.
Oh yeah, the anti-moe thing has died down significantly.
Yeah, I've
although somewhat amusingly, the same people I was complaining about are the same ones complaining.
Yes, they're the same people still complaining about moe. However many years later, after everyone has stopped caring.
Yeah, when the same people that were complaining about when Haruhi was released.
Yeah, exactly. Says a lot.
Which a lot of new people have never even seen that show. Which should tell you a lot.
And it seemed like the show that caused the most bitching about moe really was Lucky Star. Yeah. Lucky Star and K-On!
Okay, here's a good bit here. Anime is like a bus that picks up new people, but nobody ever gets off. And everyone who's been on for a year or two hate each other. And anyone new. Yeah, kind of. We've had him on here before, but Wombat, I'm sure he's not listening, but if he is, hi Wombat. He pointed out something interesting, in that the same people that I'm talking about, their recommendations to new anime fans are the same as when they got into it.
Right.
Which tells me that this really isn't for them.
Well, that's something we've been on for a while.
But it's true.
That's the whole basis for my 10-year rule.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like anime has not progressed since Cowboy Bebop and Akira and whatnot. These are still the things people go to, which is fine. I'm not saying they're bad shows or products or anything.
Bad recommendations for someone's first anime.
Well, not only because anime isn't really like that anymore, because, well, trends and whatnot. But even beyond that, why would you try to introduce somebody into something that's still going on with things that are not even remotely connected to what's being made now?
Because I know the reason why, and I'll tell you the reason why. It's because they can't engage with the stuff that's around now.
So that probably means you should tap out.
Well,
number one, that means you shouldn't be giving recommendations to people who are new to the medium.
Well,
Because all that does is create, like, okay, I'm Kenji Sixpack. I'm new to anime. I just started, started getting into anime 2 weeks ago. I'm asking Homeboy for some recommendations. He's gonna recommend me some shit from 1998 that wasn't even contemporary when it came out, but is admittedly very good, but it wasn't the style when it came out, and it's certainly not the style now. But I watch that, I get really into it, and then I'm gonna start looking around for more shows like it, and I'm gonna look at what's currently on Crunchyroll. And
you're not gonna get it.
You're not gonna find that. So what they're creating are more fans just like them. Which is a problem.
I'm gonna paraphrase or a quote from AWO. One of them.
You better be going somewhere with this.
No, yeah. I am. It was the Red Line review.
Oh, okay.
It goes, "Thank God I have something else to show people as for a recommendation of anime."
Yeah, fucking terrible movie.
Well, that
wasn't contemporary when it came out.
Fuck that.
Isn't contemporary now, and you're not going to find a whole hell of a lot like Redline.
Forget all that. Why the fuck would you recommend something based on the fact that not that you like it, but you feel comfortable showing other people it? What is that? That's not even enjoying a piece of media. That's socialization.
Because they want to make more people. They don't like their perception is that they don't like the socially unacceptable stuff of anime.
I know,
which is cool in the gang. You don't need to be recommending shit to people. That you don't.
But they have to dictate that to people. That you're a bad person if you like,
Well, maybe so. Maybe I'm a bad person, but at least I like stuff on its own merits and don't try to use it to fucking. Will you be my friend? I like this thing.
Funny, a lot of those people, bad example. Not my thing personally, but I don't have a problem with people that really like it. SAO seems to be like that show that's like you're a bad person if you like this thing.
And it's doing fucking phenomenally as far as I can see. It's on its third actual season, not counting spin-offs.
I think so, yeah.
And it's in this running for the whole year. So okay, it's doing pretty well despite people who probably should have put this whole thing to bed 5 years ago.
Hey, but it's getting more views than fucking than Otaku USA.
Guarantee you.
But
that's the thing. SAO's doing well despite a whole bunch of people who probably should have put it to bed 5 years ago. saying it's bad. So and this is another thing I get on. It's like, okay, we can understand that there might be some ridiculous aspects to something like SAO that make it something that critics would not enjoy. Entirely willing to believe that. But the fact that it's so successful means it's doing something right. So maybe we could try and figure that out, but nobody wants to do that, because then that means we have to say something good about SAO or Strike Witches or any of these moe shows that do really well. It means we have to look for the good qualities about them, and we can't just
but that's
stomp
not what
them
they
into
do.
the dirt because, hey, we don't
What-
like this shit.
What they do is they'll look at it and go, oh, this is doing really well. That just means people have a low tolerance for good art, and they just
Yeah,
like
they
lowest
say
common
it.
denominator bullshit.
Yeah, I was
They-
just gonna say that. Lowest common denominator.
Yeah, they inverse the whole thing.
To be fair, whenever I hear somebody say that in the context of fucking a review for anime, LCD, lowest common denominator, I think, can you even do math?
No, the one
they take the inverse of the whole thing. If something is really successful and popular, then it's lowest common denominator. But if they like something, but it did shittily because nobody liked it, then everyone else is wrong.
Yeah, it really is that Simpsons thing. Am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
I noticed that. Oh, I was going somewhere with this. Oh, a lot of these type of people, not all of them, but certain ones, particularly ones that went to film school, use the term. And because I've only seen these specific people use this term, boilerplate.
Yeah.
Which basically meaning like it's doing things in a sort of.
The only person I've ever seen use the term is, I think, Jezu Otaku.
I've seen a few other people, but yeah.
Maybe some of these people shouldn't have gone to film school and should have gone to marketing school instead, so they could understand why things do well despite being boilerplate or whatever words they want to pull out.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Writing that is cliched or expresses a generally accepted opinion or belief. Yeah. So basically, cliched writing is.
Yeah. You know what else is cliche? The opinions, the same opinions whining about this every season.
Real talk.
But then there's also that. This thing's actually good, but even if it has the fan service, so it's despite the fan service thing, and I'm like, can you like it for the fan service?
Nope.
Yes, there's other. It's not that we're shallow in liking but
I'm not laughing.
Can you include the fan service aspect into why you like something?
Well, here's the thing.
And not be ashamed.
Name for me one anime critic working for a major publication right now that actually likes fan service. Just one.
Maybe Nick Creamer. I don't know.
Isn't he the guy who wrote that thing on Shield Hero?
All right. Isn't
he also the guy who called Shimoneta propaganda?
All right, not that guy. There was the other guy who used to be like their.
I like how you don't know his name, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't either.
I also like how the fact that people are saying Shimoneta is propaganda while people are deleting old episodes from television shows.
Yeah. Oh, Zeke Freak. Oh yes, the pure strain otaku syrup.
That doesn't even
pure strain.
Listen, I can make up words.
Oh yes,
the reason they like that phrase is because they're thick.
Yeah, Theron Martin. That's the one.
Oh, their token guy. See, we like Moe.
Yeah. He likes he's their token Moe fan service guy, but not really.
But you can tell they are.
That's a relative term. Token Moe fan service guy is a relative term because I would be hard pressed to look at him and say, okay, yeah, he's a Moe guy.
Well,
like there's no one
Well, he's
Like-
the guy they pilfer off all those kind of shows to, if you've noticed.
Well, here's my thing. There's no one working for any of these publications who's like us.
Oh, because I've even heard one time Zach Berkshire trying to get a Moe guy once, but he just didn't like the way their review style was. This was ages ago, but I remember him saying that.
They weren't a feminist.
Well, I mean, when your review style includes putting political shit in your
They did the
preview
interview.
guide, and
Can you imagine being
unapologetically-
Can you imagine being interviewed for that fucking job with him sitting there scrutinizing your writing? He's like eating a bag of Cheetos, not even opening it, just actually shoving the bag in his mouth. Fucking like.
I don't think he eats like that anymore, considering he lost a lot of weight. So
Quit ruining my joke,
no,
VZ.
but okay, but going back to my point.
all right.
So
Okay, yeah. This is a good point. Gray Forster says the Fox News liberal and the CNN conservative. Yeah, basically.
Well, yeah, it's a relative term. They're basically a centrist, but compared to everyone else,
They look like they're
far on
far
the other
right
side.
or far left.
But no, so we have this divide, and a lot of the older fans are still really complaining about it. But here's the thing. It's their own fault completely. 100%. You see, the reason the people complaining about how the convention culture has changed and it's all about the social aspects now, it's their fault that it didn't. It's their fault that it didn't go in their direction. Because
It's your fault there isn't enough sci-fi. That there's no more sci-fi anime.
Well, not so much that,
Not that,
but it's
that's not what he's
it's
talking
the
about.
it's the old guard's fault that people don't know about older anime. It's the old guard's fault that people don't know about aren't knowledgeable about directors and whatnot, aren't knowledgeable about the past of anime, aren't knowledgeable about all the history and all the good classics. It's their fault that we have this seasonal anime culture that doesn't go back and look back on all the older shows.
No,
from
it's the
years
age of
past
quick
and decades past.
It's the age of quick fix. It's cultivated in a way that's not really considered important.
Yep.
What's
and
important are memes and shit.
Yep. And the reason it's that way is because people whose interest in anime extends to, well, okay, no, that's not fair. People who have trouble engaging with younger fans because younger fans aren't on their level, decided, you know what, we're just gonna not do it. We're gonna give up on that and do our own thing. And when the younger fans are out here looking for guidance, they get none.
They run across YouTubers.
It's less that they run across YouTubers, and more that there's two things that they're left to get guidance from. It's marketing and other anime fans their age.
Right.
So you get you see all the marketing from Funimation and Crunchyroll and whatnot, and it's always the newest stuff. And then you're surrounded by anime fans your own age, and very few of them know anything. Which isn't to disparage people who don't know anything about anime, but you're not gonna find out about Macross and the history of Macross and Robotech from some 21-year-old who also just got into it. So they're surrounded by these people, and so they start to form themselves around the community aspect because they don't have that deep knowledge and experience with the medium itself to gather around that aspect of it.
Well, don't forget to go ahead and just add good old-fashioned Juvenoya in there, too. You know that whole idea of, these young whippersnappers,
Well, on some level, but at the same time,
Old Otaku yelling at Cloud.
well, yeah.
Well, yeah, he needs
though,
to get a fucking haircut.
The,
Start banging Tifa.
the,
Fucking knock that shit off.
the whole reason that's even in a mentality in the first place is because they refuse to engage with people in order to show them what the shit's all about and show them that there's shit out here that's real good that they're probably missing out because they just don't know about it. And the reason they don't engage with people on that level is because that person likes this new anime that just came out that I think is shit. Well, I can't do anything for them because my entire opinion is run off of whether or not
stopped in 1995.
Well, no, it's run off of whether or not I engage with someone is run completely off of the idea of whether or not this person likes the same cartoons I like.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing is when there's interest from younger people and they don't have a whole hell of a lot of definitive things they can actually go to. Like, what are you gonna? You got Galbraith. That's about it. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Galbraith. There's Galbraith, and there's really few other people.
How many other published works
will lie to you?
How many other published works are just old fogies mad?
I don't know. A lot of people seem to like. I like some of his YouTube videos, but he's not necessarily the best go-to. Bennett the Sage.
I'm honestly not very familiar with them, other than the name.
He was originally a that guy with the glasses guy.
I'm gonna be very real with you. The only thing I know is him reading terrible fan fictions.
And quite frankly, a lot of people associated with that guy with the glasses are now in serious. Put it this way: the magnifying glass is on them.
Well, now he's like has his own YouTube channel, and he basically reviews old anime, but it's stuff that was released domestically. So a lot of CPM stuff, a lot of like.
Well, that brings to
a lot of manga entertainment, a lot of like that kind of like
right stuff with bad dubs. Got you.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing. He puts he only reviews things with dubs. It seems. And it's like I don't know. He's not as insufferable, but he still has a lot of the things that I still kind of find aggravating about the Western anime review scene. Is that like when he's reviewing a fan service thing, he like goes into another like quote character where it's supposed to be like your typical fan. I know he's doing that as a joke, and that's fine, but like as typical what he thinks is a fan service aficionado, which is like a guy wearing like a robe and nothing else with like a sort of suave-ish type of voice.
This guy sounds like an idiot. I'm sorry. That sounds stupid as fuck.
Like, I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I really have no patience for anyone who. If
you have to get into a character to review something, go fuck yourself.
It's like
I'm not. I mean, really, that's stupid. You're not a fucking actor.
Well, it's like it's been how long since? It's not even since anything. Like, listen. It's 2019 and we can't get someone who can look at fan service in a mature way.
Because let's be real here. All that plays into that horrible, weird Japan stereotype. It does.
Yep.
They're not helping it, even on the domestic side of things. They're actually making it worse.
So yeah, but to continue, you're not going to get a lot of real concrete knowledge from a whole lot of people, and everyone else is going to lie to you. And the thing is, if you're new, you don't know they're lying to you. So what happens is new people, and we know some people who have been through this gauntlet. So new people will get into anime and start. So okay, I'm really into anime. I wonder what I should watch next. I wonder what's all about with this medium and whatnot. And they'll start watching various YouTubers and all that.
And they'll basically, not only will they give you sort of a do's and don'ts, which is weird if you're just getting into something that just seems like, oh, you can't like this stuff, it's trash.
Yes, exactly. They're not coming from a frame of wanting to teach people and wanting to.
They're wanting more people that have their taste to be made, just like a virus.
Exactly. They're looking to self-aggrandize and enforce their own opinions upon other people. They're just trying to do it from a lower position of authority than people who are very blatantly doing that from places like ANN and whatnot.
Yeah, sort of a combination of social acceptability kind of stuff and kingmaking, really. It's like, we want this to take off. We don't want this to. And when things do show up that take off that they don't like, it's never because it did well on its own merits. It's because people are stupid.
Right.
Like it's never that this thing did anything right. It's that the people who like it are wrong.
Exactly. And I don't know if it's just me that I find it very rare for people who don't like something to talk about what the thing they don't like did right. And that's a problem, especially for someone who's doing who's trying to be a guide for new fans.
And the thing is,
I feel like people should be more talented than that.
Here's the thing, and maybe you guys will disagree, I don't know, but the age of modern social media and the ability to stream and watch things makes a lot of old style reviews kind of pointless in many cases,
I've been on that for a while.
Unless they have a similar taste as you, and you can look to them to find stuff because you have that in common. But just as a throw it down the middle, not a lot of use for that.
Well, it's like if you're doing like video reviews of anime on YouTube, your video shouldn't be more than 20 minutes.
No.
Because if your video is more than 20 minutes, I can just watch an episode of the show and form my opinion.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That whole
for the most part, I actually think reviews as they exist now, at least in niche spaces from independent creators like YouTubers, only exist as a cult of personality thing.
Yeah. I don't disagree. The problem is reviews.
That's why I stopped doing game reviews on my blog years ago, because I'm in the middle of writing my Halo 4 review, and I'm like, wait a second, why am I doing this? Literally nobody is out here trying to get my opinion on Halo 4, and all the Halo 4 reviews are already out already. They can read one of those.
I think what happened, and we've had this discussion before, I think it was offline, even on like the phone or something like that. But one of the things we saw in reviews is a switch from the technical aspect of it versus the opinionated one. And what I mean by that is a lot of older reviews, you see this in tech and even music and things like that. There's just a lot of what's inside. Here's what it is. Here's what it does.
Yeah, I want. Yeah, it's talk about like they really talk about the production side of these things.
Yeah, or if it's like a Blu-ray or something like that, the menus, all the goodies, and all that other shit. Whereas like, oh, this thing has titties in it, it makes me offended.
That's not knowledgeable.
Yeah, and they have to basically scramble. And and I realize
like, it takes a certain sort of mindset and some level of training to be able to talk about the technical aspects, the user interface, stuff like that, because that's stuff that's more objective.
Glorified bloggers can't do that, I guess. Is
Also,
what you're getting at.
Well, glorified bloggers can do that, but it takes,
Most of them don't.
Here's the thing. Glorified bloggers can do that, but it's an entirely different mindset and set of training than your typical academically trained film school or like social sort of interpretation sort of thing.
Well, I was going to
your literary criticism sort of mindset. It's a completely different set of training, completely different mindset, completely different methodology.
Right.
Well, I mean, what really brought this to my attention was I have a place I go for music reviews. Those are useful to me because they actually tell me things I want to know. And sometimes they're entertaining while doing it. Whereas when I look at anime reviews, like 3/4 of it is usually something that's superfluous.
Well, realistically, when you look at anime reviews,
which I don't hardly anymore, by the way,
it's going to be half of it's a synopsis.
Right.
Then you got like a quarter of it is the impressions of the show, which is rarely going to talk about, like, unless it's egregious, it's not really going to talk about anything technical or objective about the show or about the release and whatnot. And then you've got a little bit of a conclusion, and then some sort of 100% superfluous grading system.
Well, oh yeah. Well, I was also, my other thing I was gonna get into is that these reviews are always written from a Western perspective on things.
Well,
that
the thing is they can't write it from another perspective. They are Western, and they're going to say that too.
That, but it's like, again, they go from again. I have to bring up that them anime reviews for Photokano, where it's like this normalizes a form of sexual harassment, and it's like.
Except they were lying about the show. They were portraying the show as something it was not.
Not only that, but how can you normalize something that not very many people are actually fucking seeing? Real talk, most shows like that, even in Japan, are pretty niche-y.
You know, but that's a problem of like.
They also say it affects the birth rates, which I don't understand how that affects the birth rates in Norway or Iceland the same way.
No, but they're
not worldly people.
Well,
no, they're not.
I'm focused on the fact that they lied about that show, and that's what I'm saying. Is if you're new and you're looking, even if you are looking for people who are more experienced to show you the ropes, you're gonna get lied to.
Oh, okay. Here's something funny. And from the chat here, Anubis, you forgot about. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never. Yeah, they do usually. They usually do in their videos with that.
No, Siegfried says
going into the IRC, Siegfried says Arcada and Giga have their own issues, but disliking fan service was never one of them. Digibro is a tool, but he's very, very into it.
I see, yeah, tastemakers. I like my word, opinion leaders.
Like your local wine snob.
And
well, that brings to mind a very important question we all need to ask about these people.
Yes.
Do they spit or swallow?
Neither, because they...
Well, here's my thing. I don't know anything about Arcada. Giguk is the dangerously Japanese guy. So I actually recently watched a video by Giguk that, in my opinion, quite frankly, making an argument that's only made by people who either A, have an agenda, or B, are straight ignorant about the medium. So,
I'm not
they have their own problems. You don't need to be, quite frankly.
I know the dangerous Japanese thing, but I'm not familiar with yeah. But I'll send you a video.
Digibro, I will agree, is a tool.
What about
That's really
Mother's
all I'm going to say
Basement?
about Digibro.
What about Mother's Basement?
He's not even a tool.
Mother's Basement, he
doesn't even aspire to be a tool.
He's a table tool. He's one of those. He's like a table. He's like a drill press.
He's a fucking Walmart greeter that got fired for being bad at it.
I don't have a lot of respect because he's and hey, here's proving my point further.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Zeke Freak. Mother's Basement is a fucking retard.
Right. Proving my point further. Mother's Basement is the guy who made the why you shouldn't pirate anime video.
Oh, okay.
He's also one of those people that think that because of nostalgia attached to a dub, everybody who wants to see the original can go fuck themselves.
Yeah. So he's one of those other people who's gonna lie to you.
Like
so when you're basically in the medium, nobody like you got Patrick W. Galbraith, who's okay, and here's what you need to know. I don't even care if you buy it or not. Read Otaku Spaces, read the Moe Manifesto.
Got that.
do pick up a copy because you need this for a reference. The Otaku Encyclopedia.
Yeah, I mean, everything I've read from him has been wild stuff I already knew. It's been nice to see it coming from somebody that actually operates within the system, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, somebody who knows what he's talking about and has studied this shit for years. So he knows what he's talking about, and he's gotten kicked out of a house to prove it. But you're gonna look back and you're gonna look at these YouTubers, and Mother's Basement's gonna lie to you. Giguk's gonna lie to you. Arcada, I don't know anything about. Digibro's gonna lie to you.
But I got a better one because
first off, if you're getting your information from a YouTuber, stop.
Well, K-Gods, where are they supposed to get their information from, though?
Not there.
Where? Look, we can't just say, oh, don't do this, don't do that, because then nobody's gonna be able to do anything. We need a solution. That's the problem. We don't. Everyone's gonna lie to people because they have their own agenda that they have for the medium. I don't know why. I don't know why anyone in the United States of America has an agenda for the shit
they don't make
Japan, but there's people out here is gonna lie to you. Zeke Freak won't lie to you unless it's about Aniplex.
Ouch.
No, but
no, I don't know. Zeke Freak's in the IRC. He can tell me whether he's shifted his opinion on that or not, but I think he has, but I don't know.
All right. But as someone who was part of a toy collecting community, I have a different perspective on the people who are like, they got into it really, really a long time ago, less from the anime and more from like the toys that were kind of divorced from knowing what the anime of these things were, but they've seen some anime of these things, but but looking at like at the time the modern stuff, they sort of like, what happened to all the mecha stuff? Now it's all the cutesy moe stuff. Even though I think I have to say there's more mecha stuff now out than there was in the 80s as far as toys and shit, toys and models. There's more.
I don't know. There's something hilarious to me about middle-aged men that are toy collectors bitching at people watching anime that they don't like. It's like, oh, this is childish. Let me go collect some fucking toys.
As an update, VZ will not lie to you about Aniplex.
No. There's also
Zeke Freak won't lie to you.
Yeah, why the fuck? Why
did I say VZ? No, Zeke Freak will not lie to you about Aniplex.
There's that sort of nerd dichotomy aspect to that, I think, where it's like toy collecting is more acceptable than collecting. No, wait. I should paraphrase. Collecting toy robots is more acceptable than collecting toy anime girls.
Okay, well,
more acceptable to them. Everyone else thinks they're fucking nerds.
I was gonna say, let me explain why this doesn't work. Take some rando girl you find off of the street, bring her into your room full of nothing but robot toys. Let's see what her opinion is, okay? It's not gonna be, unless they're also a nerd, it's not gonna be, oh, neat. They're gonna think, I need to get out of here before you put me in a bag.
Especially in Japan, you're still gonna be viewed as a nerd, as an otaku. Either collecting robots or it doesn't matter. I love that.
Fucking Zeke. Oh shit, a Megazord. Fuck me now. Yeah. I'm not saying those women aren't out there. They are. But the chance of you grabbing one randomly off the street, probably not.
Yeah.
See, I would rather shake the hands of the person who's like able to afford all 3 Soul Chogokin, Zhu Ranger / first season of Power Rangers, which basically collectively would cost like $700. That'd be like the guy that's like, I'm too old for these things. I have to be normal.
Well, here, ignoring some external factors that plays into that. Sure. Nerds probably need to pick up more of the I don't care, go fuck yourself attitude. I mean, really, because if you're a nerd, the things you like outside of if it's really surface level shit like Star Wars or whatnot, we've all kind of covered that already. Mm-hmm. But if you like something that's not going to be all that popular, I don't know, like cutesy girl anime toys. I mean, except for people that already like it. See, you have to develop. Sorry, I was clearing my throat. You have to develop some level of go fuck yourself, because the average person's not going to find that neat. They're not going to support that or whatever. At very least, they're just going to think you're weird.
Well, it's like I said, don't try and fight the demographic that's out here spending hundreds of dollars on cute anime girl shit, because if they could be shamed out of that, they wouldn't be spending $150 per anime figure.
There's that, but there is a certain level of people that don't want to go to bat for this stuff, though. They just want to do it quiet, peace and quiet, and I get that. I understand you don't want to be bothered with the dumb shit, but the problem is the dumb shit comes to you. And especially in the age of social media and the internet.
Oh, well, we're going to have a third segment on that, because I got some words for that paradigm.
But obviously you know what I mean, and you presumably agree with that. There's a certain level of... You have to develop some level of kind of a middle finger, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, otherwise, these people are going to try to browbeat you. Like, hey, why don't you do something normal? And you ever notice these people are never happy, despite claims to the contrary?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Me, I'm not saying there's.
I'm cynical.
But it really looks like there's a pattern here that's easily recognized after seeing it happen for the 5 millionth time to the 5 millionth person who's out here who's
hey
pure coincidence. I don't know how these two things continue happening in the same individual, but somehow they just continue happening. For some reason they're always hating on shit. They're always out here.
Always got a permanent resting bitch face.
Always just super negative about everything that they don't need to be paying attention to. And also somehow they're miserable in life.
Right. Versus the guy who just bought a girl, or bought a girl. What is this, the Middle East?
That's an entire different kind of happiness, but go on.
No, I fucked up. No, as opposed to the guy who just came back from a con with a Dakimakura cover that has a fucking girl playing with her hoo-ha on the cover. and they're happier than a pig and shit.
This goes right back into the point I'm trying to make. Is that okay? All these you're gonna be young dude young buck anime fan out here at the anime convention, and like maybe it's his first anime convention, and he's coming in here and he's got several $100s.
Try not to go alone.
He's going in the dealer room. He just that is it's like a world opened up. It's like you jump through the portal.
I will show you a world.
Yeah, it's like you jump through the fucking painting in Super Mario 64, and you're like, wow, I didn't know this was here. I didn't know
Will Smith shows up as the genie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't know that you could friggin'. I didn't know that the cover of that one hentai manga I have is actually an anime figure. So you can go ahead. So he goes out, buys a whole bunch of other shit that he couldn't have bought. And wow, he's having a good time. He's happy because he's surrounded by all this stuff he likes. And yet the old guard is pissed because he doesn't like the same cartoons as them.
Why don't you like these sci-fi stuff?
Meanwhile, young Buck doesn't even know these people exist
until they come to him and bitch.
Doesn't know that they're pissed at him because he's out here having a good time with his cute girl stuff, and he doesn't know that they're not going to engage with him because
he doesn't know that just beyond the horizon, a cabal of hooded people are sitting there scowling, rubbing their hands together to attempt to ruin his fun.
But that's the whole thing, is that I wonder why all these people are so angry all the time. And part of it is, listen,
it's not like fucking road rage where you understand. Here's
the thing. It's like, listen, if you can't have fun at an anime convention, that's your fault. If you're an anime fan and you can't have fun at an anime convention, you did something wrong. And maybe
I will say though,
that, and to be 100%, that's not good. Like, some shit can happen to you at the anime convention. That's not what I'm saying.
No, that's not what I'm laughing about. You have upset the council. There will be consequences.
Yeah, the fucking council. But yeah, okay, some shit can happen to you at the anime convention that can make it a bad time. But barring that, if you're not having a good time at the anime convention, that's your fault.
Like, put it this way, I've been to some small ones, and I had a blast even at those.
Yeah, seriously.
Like,
because if you're not in this funk created by the fact that there aren't other similarly very jaded people out here for you to hang out with.
Isn't this just crabs in the bucket? They all hang out with each other and pull each other back into the bucket if one of them starts getting a little too excited about something.
I don't even think it's that. I just think they're all just sitting there. They're just like, nobody's trying to climb out of the bucket.
Just passing around a hookah, and they're just kind of like, yeah, it's all good in here.
They're all just sitting there in the bucket, because I would imagine if any one of those kinds of people decided, you know what, I'm gonna check out some cute girl anime. You just get shunned from the group and not let back in. Like, they would throw him out of the bucket.
Yeah. What's funny about that is if you go to one of these cons and these kind of people are there, they do show up, believe it or not. If they're there, you can always tell because they're the ones in the back with their arms crossed, with the scowl on their face.
The ones sitting in the Robotech panel pissed.
I've met him.
Okay, then am I or am I not right about that? They always look like they don't want to be there.
I don't know.
They just have this, like, I hate, like, most people here kind of look of contempt on their face.
I mean, quite frankly, in modern anime convention culture, I don't know where any of these people go.
That was like the one time I was at a con that was and I was at at the Kotobukiya booth, and this person posted on the toy farm that I said, and I was making it's like, oh, I know Japanese, I know all the I know words like paiser, I was being both. I was like, you're creepy. But I'm like thinking to myself, you're at the Kotobukiya booth. See what they sell there?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like, again,
wait, what do we got here? But hey, you can always go to a panel where Mary Elizabeth McGee is going to openly insult you. How fun! Yeah, I should point that out. Voice actors and voice actresses, we don't care about your political opinions.
No,
we don't.
Here's the thing: is like, I don't know where these people would go in modern anime convention culture. Because okay, maybe they're running panels, but
that seems about the only thing they could do that wouldn't result in them just being bored out of their skull.
Yeah, because there's nothing for them there. Everyone's out here and they're cosplaying from the latest anime or from something from like 3 years ago or some.
The best are the ones that show up. That's one of the things I love about conventions. Just as an aside here, something I love doing and picking up when I go there is being on the lookout for something that's odd that you aren't going to see it just anywhere. Like there's always that one fucking person who shows up playing a character that no one else is even going to know who the fuck they are. For a primary example of this, I went to go see, and I've mentioned this years back, a Go Nagai panel, which was disgraceful. There was like 5 people in that fucking thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I could tell the dude running it was just like, really?
Well, you want to know why there were only 5 people in there, but go on.
I know why, but somebody showed up dressed up as Mazinger Z, the actual robot.
Now that's great.
And I was like, I guarantee myself and only the people in here are the only people at this entire fucking convention that even knows what that's supposed to be.
You want to know why you were the only people who knew what Mazinger Z is?
Like I'm not trying to say that as sort of as a badge, like, oh, you don't know. I don't mean that. The point is that's something I like doing though, is looking out for characters and things like that no one else is going to notice. If just the hey, let me take a picture or cool, I know what that thing is. Just to give the person who went to the trouble to do it some sort of recognition.
See, I used to be the guy that would hate like the people who were like into Naruto or such at the time, or because it was like it was like, what's that word? Like an easy open target thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at a low effort. Not that I would personally attack them, because that would be just dickish. But now it's like I don't have a problem with those people because at least they're enthusiastic with whatever there is that they're into, even if it's the newest thing, or if
yeah, exactly. It's
like I don't care. Let them like that thing. They're hyper enthusiastic about it.
Sure.
Bingo.
Yeah, I mean,
I hang with someone who's
a diehard a quote unquote Naruto would still be preferable to these people by a lot.
I can't hang with someone who's the kind of person who would deliberately not have fun at anime convention.
Yeah, you're just what to bring back an old word nobody uses anymore. They're a buzzkill.
Yeah, but to continue on my point, so you got all the cosplayers, they're having a good time. You got the people doing all the events and the masquerade and the cosplay deathmatch and all that. They're having a great time.
Barring technical difficulties, they're having a good time.
Exactly. You got the people who
are even there to shop. They're usually having a good time.
People in the dealer room, and maybe these people are in the dealer room shopping for like
hell. Window shopping's fun.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying maybe these people are in the dealer room shopping for old anime that they missed, but maybe I don't know, man. And quite frankly, they're probably gonna get beat to the booth by people who are more enthusiastic about everything going on in anime conventions.
I mean, I don't. The thing is I don't run across a lot of these people at cons, both because I'm not looking for them, because quite frankly, I don't.
They disappear into the background. You don't. They're invisible. You don't see them. They're not out here in the wild cosplay.
I met one at the line waiting for the Tomino panel.
Well, yeah,
okay.
That's the only place you're going to encounter them is in a line for
saying that Bandai was going to die, which to be truthfully they did a year after, but not because of the Moe, but even though he was
the part of that, at least in the U.S., was because they were still operating on an old business model.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was from, by the way, the Japanese side. Like they basically pulled their plug.
Well, yeah, right, and rightfully so, because it wasn't really working for them.
But you know what? things got better because,
they could easily come back if they updated their business model.
Well, here's
or
the
just
thing.
license their stuff to existing licensors like
Here's the
Nozomi.
thing.
Like Nozomi, yeah.
Like
I was going to
Tactilmarks.
say that. Things turned out better because now the Gundam releases are being released the way they should.
All of
And the
them.
Moe stuff is being released the way it should. Like, K-On! And all that when they had that. So
They also had Haruhi, didn't they?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I got the old one of that before Funi had it.
A lot of Sunrise stuff, a lot of, sci-fi stuff, but it's being released now in the proper way.
Code Geass as well.
But so here's the thing. So VZ encountered one of these people in the line for the exact panel that you would find one of these people at. So they blend into the background. You don't see them. They don't stand out. They're not out here doing something wild and crazy because that takes passion, and they don't have enough passion to suspend their separation between cartoons they like and cartoons they don't.
By the way,
like.
there was someone dressed as Salamas on the line too.
Yeah, naturally.
Nice.
So they don't have the passion to separate what they like from what they dislike long enough to maybe possibly try and steer people to what's good in this medium.
Well,
or even the stuff they like.
Well, here's another weird phenomenon, and a lot of people, even the older ones, that claim to know the history of anime, but they really don't because they have this skewed notion that like old anime was this way, but then this, and it's like you're only looking at it from a very limited perspective.
There's a word for that. It's called lying.
Well, no, but sometimes lying through ignorance. There is lying, yes, but there's also lying through.
Well, if they don't know, then why are they
because people like to because there are people who like to seem to be the expert and want
to be experts, then they should have a wider spectrum of knowledge
do your homework
than just I liked robot shows, so the 80s is all about robot shows because I declared it.
Yeah,
so
it's like
so now I'm gonna lie to people about that because I don't want to begin to understand
all 80s.
Maybe some shit I didn't like. Maybe some shit I wouldn't like came out in the 80s. Maybe there isn't one era of anime that I can point to and say this era was better because stuff I like came out during this era.
It's like equating that the 80s was only hyper violent stuff and very serious stuff.
Which tells me they only saw OVAs.
Not true at all. So they're lying to people.
Wait, but you don't have to. Do you want to bring up that person in the comment that
you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific than that.
I don't fucking know who you're talking about.
The Reddit comment, Anubis.
Oh,
because that's perfectly.
Well, see, here's the thing. And I don't even really need to get specific. So I posted an article on Iyashike and linked it on Arotaku and got into it with this guy who admittedly on his part didn't know a whole lot about how anime was made, which is fair, but then why are you asserting to me that things should be this way when you don't even know how a lot of these shows come to be? So he was being ignorant. I'm saying for the people VZ is describing, they're just straight up lying. If they're trying to impart history and wisdom to people and they don't actually have the knowledge about the history, then they're lying.
But there are people who want to both seem to be the expert, even if they think they know all of what they're.
Why do they think they know all of what they're doing if they're going to say, okay,
because
this era was this way? Because
there's a certain notion that if I seem like the guy that knows the history of something, that I'm at this level,
or moreover,
and I can influence the younger people into think like.
Well, here's the thing. Who gave them that idea? That it's.
Would you say they're grooming them?
But there are people like that. I've seen people who are like faux experts.
Which is weird, and this is a
they're
good point.
lying.
Here's a good point. There's a part of one's brain that can admit I don't know about X subject, which these people seem to lack. But the thing is they can turn that on and off. If you stuck them with like a car that was broken down because like it needs something to be fixed, they would probably say they don't know how to do it and would actually go to an actual expert to have it fixed. They're not going to lie and say, "Oh, I can do that," and be stuck without a vehicle. It like I said, they can turn that on and off depending on what it is, or at least it just seems like it. Anyway,
I think that's a better assumption. But yeah, I've seen people who really want to act like the expert because it gives them a social standing in the anime community.
Oh, I entirely understand that.
Which is a community
that they're lying.
Which is a community that beneath the surface they actually don't even like. Because if they did, they wouldn't be out here at cons basically using it as excuses to fuck with people.
There's a particular, I don't even know how to go about putting this. There's a particular mentality that allowed a lot of these people, a lot of the same people with mentality VZ's talking about, but on a higher level, I guess, to get to levels of influence, get to like actual levels of influence within the anime community. And it's bad because all those people, they're going to continue just lying to new people coming into
well, yeah, they're not going to throw up their hands and go, "Yeah, I was talking out of my ass the whole time."
Yeah.
No. Oh God. No.
Well, unless you're Justin Savakis, that one time was on the Answer Man, and you and I did an episode about this VZ. Yeah. So and that just calls into question. Okay, so we know that the Answer Man isn't always going to do his research. How many of these other people are not doing the research?
Insert the Jeopardy theme here.
Who knows? Nobody knows. I don't know where.
Yes, the opinion of otaku in Japan is the same as it was in the early 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, so, it's only been 20 years and tons of sweeping social changes that have swept across the entire world.
Also, that was
also the fact that that entire mentality from the early 90s was completely manufactured by the news media.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, put it this way, they
talked about that.
They're doing to that what they did to music in the 90s and things like that. Like they made it this dangerous, like, oh, this is inspiring school shooters. No, it wasn't.
Dungeons and Dragons.
It really is. It goes right back to that same idea.
And it's like, yeah, it's like, what's that?
It's really just variants of Satanic Panic, which was weird to begin with because how many things that they claimed were satanic actually openly were so?
None.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, they did exist, but none of the things they were picking on were.
Yeah.
It's not like Anton LaVey or something mysteriously, was behind Parker Brothers.
Yeah. Again, I've made you see this. I don't know if you actually watched it, but there's this great video from the mid '80s. These two guys talking about like basically how the occult has evaded these things that were like a lot of these were big brand names like Masters of the Universe and
so basically these huge kind of IPs that were floating around at the time,
right? And just the cult coming to the and is getting in the way of like but it's hilarious and it's amazing that like in 30 years since a lot has changed, but at the same time nothing has changed. It's the same mentality but different.
It's a different angle, but it's the same methodology.
Yeah,
this thing must go away because it's bad.
Yeah,
the reason it's bad is because of insert political, social, whatever bullshit here.
Right, but originally it was from like the political right.
Yeah, which is funny because people don't seem to get this, but the thing led against video games and music and stuff was largely a bipartisan thing.
Mm.
But like the PMRC, for example, was led by Tipper Gore, who is about as far from right as you could get. And that always cracks me up. That's like, oh, the right wingers are coming to ban your shit. It's like these people want to ban shit too. They're just a little bit more sneaky about it.
Mm. No, but it was from. It's weird. It's like it was from now that
it was the more majority types, and now it's more the social people.
Right.
These like these people that say they're pro-social. Remember that? Pro-social. As in antisocial, I guess. Anyway. Wasn't Jack Thompson a demo? Yeah, probably. I don't know that. Wasn't he just, like I said, wasn't he disbarred though?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so yeah, just a disbarred lawyer. That we should take total advice from that. What's funny about that is even he's not really the same person anymore, and that's just comical.
But yeah, so here's the real dilemma. All these people out here complaining about the thing that they're responsible for, but they don't know that they started it because they've been in this. They've had this rain cloud over their heads for so long. Oh, woe is me! Why is there? Why is there no one out here appreciating the older anime when they're the exact people who made people not want to appreciate older anime, or moreover made people not know it exists because their whole thing is they're out here just refusing.
Why aren't you
to
watching
engage with
Space Battle Yamato?
well, refusing to engage with people who basically aren't already watching older anime. Then on the flip side, if you are new and you are seeking out people who are more experienced, you're going to get lied to. So you're going to have fucked up perspectives for so long until you run into people who have broader perspectives, who can set you on the right path, if that even happens.
Well, here's another aspect that I think you'll understand. This goes for the old crowd, even during their time. People are always going to seek out what is the easiest to seek out. There's very few. You have to be a special kind of person, which I was, who wanted to see things more obscure, more in the harder to see way. Because I was the guy watching Super Sentai and Gal Gaigar in the 90s.
Right, but let's be real here. The paradigm has shifted. Accessibility isn't the problem anymore.
Exactly.
Like that's never going to be a problem now because of the way things are structured. Like the internet has made that a moot issue.
For the most part.
Well, yeah, I mean, like there are certain things that, this never left Laserdisc, or yeah, I get it, but for the most part, yeah, that's not a problem. The problem, like Anubis said, is where do you go? If you're new and you're interested, where do you go to learn about this stuff and whatnot without basically be given the runaround? You know, I mean, the thing is some people have just, and quite frankly, these people are more tolerable out of the bunch. The ones that have just sort of faded into the back and have said, well, whatever, I'm not really interested in the social aspect of any of this anymore, and just want to watch their stuff in peace. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's cool in the gangs, as long as they're not bitching.
They're not causing trouble. The ones that are causing trouble are the ones that basically want to try to make little miniature versions of themselves.
And so now here's where it gets really interesting. The old guard is valued for their knowledge, certainly. We're getting closer and closer to this paradigm where knowledge just has no value at all. Because we're getting so much of this information that used to be like arcane knowledge that only super mega nerds knew that have been to Japan and know Japanese and shit. That that knowledge is getting like compiled and archived, so you can just access it. Like you can just know, okay, who directed this, and you can just type some shit into a keyboard, or grab your magic rectangle that everyone has, that everyone's carrying around with them 24/7,
The
connected
magic
to all the knowledge of the
The
world,
magic rectangle.
and look that up. And you don't need to talk to some a-hole who's some jaded a-hole to learn more. You can just look some shit up on the internet, and maybe you might get misled, but the a-hole was going to mislead you anyway because he has an agenda, so who cares? So now
Zeke says this: I think you're overlooking how much of this issue comes from both sides. The old idiots don't need to convert new fans because the youth is already on their side a lot of the time. Trust me, I'm in the young ass fandoms.
I don't think Zeke and I are arguing the same point, because there's a point to be made for this, for stuff like the anti-Moy brigade and whatnot, and Zeke's completely right on that. But I'm talking about people out here on, oh, why doesn't, like, there's not new fans out here who are also as into
Like
as into friggin' Orgus as
yeah, or fucking
old-ass fans are.
armored trooper Votons or something
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that. Yeah. Right. The thing with
And
that,
what I'm saying is, you're gonna see a lot less value being put into the older fans who have all this knowledge, because it's just not, there's no point in having these lore keepers, these keepers of knowledge in the fandom anymore, because when everyone can look up everything on the magic rectangle, doesn't matter.
they no longer have their place that they used to hold, because think about this. If you need knowledge, you used to have to go to those kind of people. You don't anymore. Thus, their purpose is largely just to gripe.
Yeah, you don't need to go to these people, and they're assholes, so nobody wanted to go to them in the first place.
And thus, them fading into the background is probably a good thing, because you're not helping anything. You're bringing everybody down and killing any kind of, excitement anybody actually does have. And even if some of these people do like the same stuff that you do, plenty of them also like something like fucking, I don't know, or emo.
It's the knowledge versus enthusiasm, which it's not supposed to be a dichotomy, but
and it's one that's largely false at this point, because how many people can just fill their head with all this stuff, and then they no longer need basically for any of that. It's just, I don't know. I mean,
see, I really wish that we could get a sort of discussion with some of these older people who've been.
Just as an aside, Zeke is pointing out some good stuff in here, but those are going to be for the third segment. We're going to get to that.
Oh yeah. So here's the thing. Yeah, I get. I'm with you, VZ, that maybe it would be a good idea to get someone in here who disagrees. But we just spent the last hour talking about how the people who are on this mindset are on that mindset because they're not going to engage with anyone who even likes the wrong anime. Just not going to engage with them.
These are people that call people with Moe avatars Nazis. You really think they're gonna want to hang out with us?
In the logical conclusion of a decade-long and very, very embarrassing crusade against Moe. Moe fans are Nazis now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Say, I know, but that's just so frustrating that I just, really wish that there's a way to engage and just say, we may not agree, but can we at least come to why you disagree, and why?
Why would we want to do that? We already know. I just explained to you why.
It's true, but I would still love to hear it from their perspective.
You're not going to hear it from their perspective, though. You're not, because all they're going to do is some mental gymnastics, and it's going to be there. It's going to be
look, VZ. It's going to be so roundabout. Yes's lawyers are going to be calling.
Yeah, there's no way you're gonna get a straight answer from any of these people.
Well,
Not gonna happen.
that's the thing. If backed into a corner, it's never just
Because-
out. It's never just it never breaks down into self-realization or anything like that. It always just goes into this weird circular sort of, like you said, mental gymnastics that don't really follow.
Because here's the thing, they're coming from a mindset that allows them to think, I don't like this thing, so it's bad. Whereas we're coming from a mindset that allows it. It's like, okay, I don't like Full Metal Alchemist. Perfectly good show, not for me. I didn't like Attack on Titan. Perfectly good show, not for me. I know what the good aspects of these shows are, and if you asked me, I could articulate them to you. But I don't watch these shows because I'm not particular fans of these shows. But you're not going to hear any of these old guard people bitching about modern anime fans going, you know what? I didn't care for Eromanga Sensei, but this was really real well executed about it. You're not going to hear that.
It's like me
talking about how strike witches, or you're not going to hear them talking about Ori Emo saying, "Oh, well, I didn't really enjoy watching Ori Emo, but I found this really compelling about it." No, you're not going to hear that. It's not going to happen.
See, it's like me and you, like how I'm just not into Code Geass. I just could not. That is not my thing. Or another one, because I watched it fully, Nadesco. I just could not get into Nadesco. But those are both things that you're really passionate into. And that's fine.
The other thing is, and here's the other thing, and I think this will lead us well into the last and probably most volatile segment we're going to have for sure.
Right.
The thing is, though, even if you don't like these things, even if you vehemently don't like them, you don't think he's a bad person because he does.
Oh no, absolutely not.
That's the thing. They equate the entertainment you like with how good of a person you are. I
think it's great that he's passionate about that. You're passionate about whatever it is that
and that's a weird thing to me. That's not just me, is it? Like where people associate your worth as a human being because of some shit you like.
And they say we take our cartoons too seriously.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean, though? It's like, oh, you like this thing, you must be a Nazi, a creep, a pedophile, or just any kind of nasty, any kind of nasty insult they can drudge up. And it's like, holy fuck, I have a job. I do things just like any other person does. Yeah. Voice got caught there.
It's like, dog, I'm just watching some cartoons. I don't know what you're on.
Yeah, like at what level do you think?
Or it's like how I'm perfectly fine with you ragging on me about liking Sugumi from Nisekoi.
Yeah, because she's a bitch.
And see, I say, but you need to watch more. But that's fine. That's
the thing is, Anubis doesn't think you're fucking some pariah because you like something.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're an idiot. It's like this is the thing. It's like there.
And the thing is,
if you look at the Moe people who are into the Moe thing, is it just me or do people like us seem to have a whole lot more fun amongst each other than the people I'm mentioning who can't even have fun at an anime convention?
I think so.
Like, I don't understand the whole idea that, first off, we're dealing with tons of people that think fun is bad. It's a neurological trick, remember?
Of course.
Because we're not cynical about it. Because you got to be cynical, and that's how you.
No, I'm cynical about government. I'm not cynical about the very pulpy entertainment I enjoy.
You got to be cynical with your entertainment too.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't.
It's this whole mentality where being cynical means you're smart when really.
No, it doesn't.
Really, it more often means you're dumb and faking funk.
Yeah, exactly. And quite frankly, that's another thing. There was a recent study that came out that pointed out that no, smart people are not immune for falling for traps and things like that. And no, I don't mean, chicks with dicks.
Traps.
No, I mean,
Trap is a slur.
okay. And now what?
I'm still gonna say it.
Anyway, but the point is it doesn't matter how smart you are. You are still susceptible to any kind of bullshit get rich quick scheme or any kind of cult like behavior. In fact, the smarter you are, sometimes the easier it even is if they know how to pitch it right.
Yep.
And this has been proven in a number of cases, like that fucking cult over in Japan. The one that was dropping sarin gas in the subways and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. There were PhDs in that fucking thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, and this was just some fat Buddha looking motherfucker,
With one working eye.
that probably could be mistaken as an incel now. Just guiding these people to this bullshit, we're going to start Armageddon. So the point is, having a high intellect does not prevent you from falling for shit. So why the hell would it be even... So why would you think that cynicism makes you smart?
I don't know. That seems to be very prevalent in the Western in the Western media.
I can tell you why. And here's I can tell you exactly why people have this mentality where cynicism means you're smart. Is because if you have a sufficient level of experience with a subject, you're more likely to have experienced the bad parts about that subject, and you're more likely to be cynical about that subject because you've experienced the bad parts. So when people look at someone who's cynical versus someone who's more optimistic or idealistic about something, they see, oh, that guy has a negative outlook on this subject. That means he's probably had more experience than this person who's more idealistic or optimistic about it, because this optimistic person seems to have not experienced the bad parts of this subject, simply by virtue of them not already being jaded and broken down about it.
Okay, well then riddle me this, Anubis.
I'm not saying this is smart. I'm saying this is
no. I get that. You're playing devil's advocate a bit here.
I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm explaining why this happens.
Okay,
I'm not saying it's smart. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm saying why it happens.
Okay, well, in any case, okay, again, follow with me here for a minute. If cynicism makes you smart, then how come 10 years down the line these people are still here?
Very good question. It's a very good question.
It's like, I mean, I didn't think smart people would just sit there waiting around for something to get better that's not going to. Like, imagine a relationship falling apart and you holding out for an extra 10 years. It'll get better. Okay. Or, you know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, I've got a neurodegenerative disease. It'll get better.
Well, they have a word for when someone does the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah, it's called insanity.
Insanity. And that's going to lead us into our third segment. So keep it right here. We're going to come back on NTR Radio very shortly.
Okay. Nice.
I have to use this bathroom, so I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
Time for Noops is back.
Sing along.
I actually should know the words to this because it's a virtual lawn song, and that's what I'm obsessed with, but I don't.
Yep. It happens. I'm still laughing at that episode title.
The posh.
I'm bringing it back. Everybody, porn and video games cause of knife crimes in the UK. The Independent, the publication actually said that. Well, somebody who's writing for them,
right?
Whatever said that, I guess. What a crock of shit. So after they ban it, how are they going to explain it? I got something to post for you here. Maybe if I can actually get the thing to paste. And it didn't work. Awesome. Don't you just love tech? Oh, it does not like that idea. You cannot copy paste from there for some reason. That's weird. Nope. Guess you're not getting that. Oh, okay, I know why. Never mind. I know why it wasn't working. Yeah, see? There you go. I knew you could do it.
Damn, son. They say perfection doesn't exist, but I don't know.
I wonder if that bottle has LCL in it.
Okay.
VZ is back.
Why does that sound like... This is wrong. Why does that remind me of like Japanese war songs? Okay, that didn't.
Well, it is Japanese and it is a war song. Well, it's in Japanese. I don't know if the people singing it are of Japanese descent or are just singing it because it's a Japanese thing.
Okay. Wait a minute here. Zeke, $10 says she's never swallowed the food. You ever see those? Wait. This is not done. You ever see those Instagram thoughts? Always cut right before they put the food in their mouth.
This looks to me to be more of a just a candid anime con shot.
Yeah, I don't think it's said Instagram thoughterly.
To call the Thought Patrol.
Yeah.
Thought police, feel the power that we got. Thought police.
Someone needs to make that video.
We'll give it our best shot.
Thought police.
Okay. Coming back in on third segment is
Here we go.
2. Welcome back to NTR Radio.
Strap yourselves in. It's going to get turbulent.
Okay, so I have a question, and this is a serious question. Why the fuck does Twitter still exist?
Yeah. It's not providing anything good, that's for sure. I mean, unless you think posting memes is the epitome of being useful.
So not giving people a whole hell of a lot of value.
No. It's largely complaining, it seems like.
Largely complaining. Largely people arguing back and forth with terrible arguments for hours on end. A lot of harassment. A lot of various...
And when he says harassment, he does not mean disagreeing with in a harsh way. No, he means it in the literal sense of the word.
Actual fucking harassment.
I mean, people getting doxxed.
Like way back when we talked about that one person who got the hate mob because she posted weird photos of her sister.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we had that going on Twitter. Nobody likes it, but there isn't much people can do about it other than aggressively curating their own feeds, and even then, you'll see some shit leak in every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
So how the fuck does Twitter exist? Like, why does anyone put up with that shit?
And if you disagree with us on this, we have some evidence to prove that what we're talking about is not just us having sour grapes.
Well, I still think like the people engaged with the industry fine. Like,
but is that really on Twitter?
How many? That's number one, and number two, how many of those people do I actually want to talk to?
First
not
off,
the voice actresses, not those people.
Well, definitely not. But
no, that's just as cancerous as these people.
Who's engaged on, and I'm talking specifically about anime Twitter, because quite frankly, from all the other Twitter sectors that have people I follow in, none of them are nearly as bad as any Twitter. Yeah,
I mean we're approaching the level that comic books hits,
like,
and
all the like real life business people I follow, they're all
they're adults.
Gang on their side. Ace Combat Twitter, everyone's having a great time. Fucking all the people I see who just post pictures of weapons. They're not dealing with any of this bullshit. Most of the artists that I follow are just art and not much else.
Yeah, that's what I do. Most of my stuff is Japanese followers.
Though there is some artist shit that we're going to talk about in a bit that has to do with what I'm going on.
Oh, okay.
But why are we continuing to put up with this shit? Like, why? Like, what is so valuable about Twitter.com that so many anime fans are willing to put up with all this stupid bullshit that we agree is stupid? That we agree is stupid and is bullshit.
I mean, other than not following obnoxious people, I really don't know what we're technically supposed to do about it.
Well, why? Well, you just like you just said, it's not giving us a whole hell of a lot of value.
No, they're not. I'm not saying you're wrong.
So why does Twitter continue to be a thing? Like, why is anyone still engaging with any of these people?
I don't know. And you can almost always tell them by their their bio too. Like if they have some obnoxious political shit in their bio, and that goes on any kind of side of the aisle there, that's just guaranteed trouble. And I personally don't follow those people.
Me neither.
That was a mistake I made when I got on Twitter early on. It's like, oh, they like anime. I like anime. Boy, was that a mistake. Whew.
But here's my thing. It's like there's definitely the option to very aggressively curate who you're following, and to some extent who the people you're following follow, so you don't see retweets from people.
Yeah, and they give you, and quite frankly, they give it.
That we agree is stupid and agree is bullshit.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's not really an excuse. You have the tools.
Well, I've done a very good job of mostly. I mean, I still see.
And let's be real. You're gonna run across something occasionally, whether it be just something stupid or maybe even accidentally follow somebody who somebody thought they weren't. It happens.
But what I'm saying is, what is Twitter specifically doing for anyone here?
I can't really say, other than people having a good time talking about random stuff and posting pictures and all that sort of stuff. It's largely pretty hostile.
Yeah, because and don't get me wrong, there's people who I follow who post stuff on the regular that bumps me up or that I find funny and whatnot. And realistically, most of those aren't from any Twitter, and there are some from any Twitter, and bless them. But most of the people who really pump me up aren't any Twitter people. A lot of it's arguing, and a lot of it's, again, stupid bullshit. Actually, go on, because I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. I'll be honest with you. My Twitter account, at least this one, is my anime account. It's specifically for that, and it was made for that. So, I mean, I do follow people that aren't part of that, but for the most part, it is an anime account. Whereas in your case, I don't think you set yours up that way.
Well, mine was an anime account to begin with. Well, anime and gaming, because I was doing both. But it's largely began as an anime account. And for the most part, until a couple years ago, it wasn't. It continued to be an anime account. But then I started, number one, I started following people I was highly interested in who were outside the anime space. And number two is I started seeing a lot of, again, this dumbass shit from coming from anti-Twitter. That was like, okay, I have the option to not deal with this. So not only am I gonna call all these people who are putting crap in my feed from my follow list, but I'm gonna follow some people who I know who I can observe. Say, hey, okay, there a lot of, because I don't listen to any anime podcasts and I don't listen to any gaming podcasts.
Nah, me either.
So I follow a lot of the podcasters I listen to, because they're not gonna friggin' jump stupid shit about the whatever the newest anime controversy is into my feed. I'm not gonna see that from those people. I'm not gonna see that from Mindset Twitter. I'm not gonna see that from Ace Combat Twitter. Only anime Twitter. Only anti-Twitter has these problems, and don't worry, people out there. I know there's other sectors of Twitter that have similar problems, but as far as stuff I'm involved in, stuff this podcast is involved in, anti-Twitter is the only one I've observed with these similar kinds of problems.
There's something about the anime fan base that really does cultivate that sort of shit.
And Zeke freaking the IRC. to get out in front of this. Anubis, are you arguing in favor of blacklists? Because that seems unlikely. No, I'm arguing in favor of using the tools at your disposal to create a social media feed that doesn't serve you bullshit that you don't want to see on a regular basis.
Just because somebody tries to put a bowl of shit in your face doesn't mean you have to eat it.
Listen, and this is, I don't want to be subjected to other people's bullshit on a regular basis. I don't.
Most of us have our own bullshit to deal with.
Siegfried continues. Just creating echo chambers. Siegfried, why is there an expectation for me to deliberately follow people who put bullshit I don't want to see in my social media feed? Why? Why should I do that? Why should I specifically this person's gonna put some shit in my feed that's gonna constantly make me feel bad, or constantly shit on me, or constantly just some bullshit I don't want to see fucking up my day when I've got 5 minutes and I'm scrolling through Twitter. Why should I do that? There's no reason for me to do that.
But
there's no reason for me to create an environment where I'm likely to encounter bullshit I don't want to see. There's no reason for me to do that.
Which, unfortunately,
if we're talking politically, then that's a different story, quite honestly, because there's a degree of, you need to expose yourself to different opinions. But we're talking about cartoons.
To expose himself.
Yeah, but we're talking about cartoons. So I don't see why there's a reason to say, oh well, I should follow it. Like I should follow any single one of these people who's gonna roll up on Japanese artists and post FBI memes. It's like,
oh yeah. It's like
Siegfried, there's not. I'm just memeing about what the expectations are. And there is an entertaining dichotomy in which we are against blacklisters and people who create echo chambers, but yet we do it ourselves. There's levels to it. I don't think it's a problem creating, if you want to use the terminology, creating an echo chamber around cartoons. Now, going back to our previous topic, our previous segment, if you want to create that echo chamber, and then you're going to complain that people outside your echo chamber aren't on board with what's inside your echo chamber because you didn't bother to engage with them, that's your problem. But I don't see an issue with and again, didn't like 10 years ago we all thought Twitter was the stupidest shit?
Sure. Well, to be fair, when we got on it, it was purely for propaganda purposes.
Oh yeah.
Which before some dipshit comes out and it's ruined propaganda, it's like, you do realize that word originally was neutral, right?
K-Gods, I remember being highly skeptical when you told me that you were on Twitter and that it was helping you out. I remember being highly skeptical, like, Twitter? Really? And then I got on board, and truth be told, it did a lot for me on She's Lost Control Media, She's Lost Control.net and whatnot. But we all used to think this was the stupidest shit. And now it just seems to matter so much to everyone. And I'm wondering why.
People aren't using it. People are using it now for things that they used to do. Hang on, let me rephrase that. People used to go outside more.
There you go.
And now, instead of interacting with the world around them, they try to do it through the internet. And because the real world has actual filters where if you mouth off, somebody might punch you in the face or whatnot, people sort of let the mask drops.
Right.
And basically how they really want to act is for everybody to see. And that's not very positive most of the time. I don't know.
See, I think it's I think it's the other way around. I actually do think it's the other way around. That the way people act in real life is how they really act, because that's how people exist, is around other people. The way people act on the internet is how they are rewarded for acting on the internet. And like, we've all seen these studies and listened to these speakers and listened to these podcasts where everyone's saying social media is terrible for you and it's terrible for society, and it hasn't been doing a whole lot of good, and they deliberately manipulate shit. Like, we've all seen this shit, right?
We all know it's true.
We all know it's true. So,
like, put it this way. One of the guys, and I can't remember the dude's name, so you'll have to forgive me. One of the guys that worked on the algorithms for Facebook doesn't let his kids use it.
You will find that not many of the people who run these things or in the high levels of these things let their kids use these things.
Because they know how they work and how they're set up. That whole like-dislike thing is... there's something rooted in the base of human behavior about that that gets people to act fucking stupid.
So maybe YouTube maybe Twitter needs we have a like button and a favorite button. No, retweet and a like button. But maybe we need like a like this thing sucks button.
That would only make that actually. I was going to say that would only make things worse. And quite frankly, they're starting to take those away from places that already have them. Like, did you know they're going to do that with YouTube if they haven't already?
Yeah,
we can't dislike button. It's like, I don't give a rat's ass about that.
Ziegfeld in the IRC. I actually need to go up a bit. I think getting a little exposure to views you are against and crossing swords, as it were, is a valuable thing. It keeps your integrity. You know what you're talking about. I wouldn't value my opinion as much if I didn't have to defend it. Sure, yes, I agree with that. Not on Twitter, because it doesn't reinforce that.
Not only that, but quite frankly, a lot of the things we're talking about is not reinforcing a position or opinion. It's dealing with people calling you stupid names and shit.
Well, and that's putting it very lightly. Quite frankly.
Yeah. I'm racial slurs, all kinds of shit. Just any number of idiotic.
Like, okay, you're not gonna cross swords and prove like
you're not going to gain perspective from somebody who thinks you're a sexual predator.
You're not going to gain perspective. You're not going to reinforce your own integrity and your own ideas if you're arguing lolly with someone who's just going to call you a pedophile for that. Like that, you're not going to get anything out of that.
Which brings us to a story that has crossed from being on social media into real life. Do you want to lead this one?
All right, so there was this guy on Twitter, and he's pretty well known.
I don't think we should use names.
No, and to be frank, I don't know this guy's name, and I barely know his handle.
But no, me.
So it's no one that we follow, or
no one that we interact with.
No, but that's not the point.
So he was set to be a father soon.
Yes,
and he also I think he bought some Dojins, and one of them was a lolly Dojin. And like he posted a picture of the Dojins he bought on his Twitter, and it's like, oh well, now everyone's gonna come out and drag him for being a pedophile. And long story short, come to find out a few days ago, he attempted suicide. So, yeah, maybe it's fine that we don't want to interact with certain people on Twitter. Maybe it's okay to not want to.
And quite frankly, if you're one of those people who thinks ragging on somebody like that until they do something like that is fine, you're who we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think it's not okay.
Like that's not discourse. That's not arguing.
It's
That's
ridiculous. It's the
that,
exact kind of behavior.
that's Inquisition level bullshit.
It's the exact kind of behavior that's reinforced. Because
And
you get to join in on what everyone else is doing.
it's a weird semblance of mob justice, and it's also this we're patting ourselves on the back and getting accolades from our friends kind of bullshit for doing it. And like it really is this weird, I don't even want to call it tribal. I mean, there's an element of it, I suppose.
Barbaric.
Yeah, it's similar to, like, it's almost the inverse of when, like, over in China they had like somebody getting run down by, like the government. And I don't mean like Tiananmen Square. I mean just like, and people just kind of stop and stare and they don't try to help or anything. It's almost the inverse of that. It's join on in because everybody else is doing it.
Yep. And it's like I said, the platform reinforces that kind of behavior.
And certain viewpoints, it pretty much, in certain viewpoints, it allows people to do it because they don't care that they're doing it.
Ziegfeld continued in the RC. I understand there are lost causes and arguments, but I think judging that preemptively is a little immature. And heated but civil debate does happen on Twitter, and I think is valuable. Is why I can't get behind these kinds of fuck this platform positions, because there is both good and bad. I met you guys on Twitter, and that was valuable. I have meaningful discussions, and that's valuable. The few times I got called a pedophile are easily worth that. I disagree. I don't agree. It's not that I disagree that all the positive interactions were not positive interactions. I agree that, yeah, sure, I've met cool in the gang people on Twitter. I get that. 100%, there are cool people on Twitter. But what I'm saying is that worth putting up with people who are gonna harass someone into attempting suicide over some cartoon bullshit?
Literally.
Is that worth all these furries out here for some reason calling Arby's out for pedophilia because
over a fucking goofy little drawing?
Yes,
drawn by a marketing team that was paid,
and it's not even a perverted drawing.
No, it was super deformed. It was like it was chibi. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying we need to get rid of Twitter. What I am saying is something I've said twice on this podcast before. People need to start aggressively curating their feeds, and if that means I'm going to miss out on two cool people because I decided I'm not gonna be around the kinds of people who post FBI memes to Japanese artists, I think I'm fine with that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's number one.
Go ahead.
Number two is Drawing Girl in the IRC also has a good point. Twitter allows this kind of harassment. They allow this kind of harassment to go on, and they don't really do anything about it. Because can they? It happens at such scale that I don't know if they really can happen about it.
But there are certain things that they pick and choose when they go after people for this shit. They do. Obviously so.
Zeke freaking the RC. See, I think so. Because that can happen anywhere for any reason, regardless of platform. And maybe that's because I have thick skin. I don't give a fuck about these people. I'm never going to slit my wrists over what they call me. I sympathize with those who do, but maybe they should just avoid these platforms, not advocate for their erasure. Nobody's advocating for any erasure.
No.
Nobody.
I think
I'm questioning the worth of Twitter because it allows this shit to go on and doesn't. Nobody does anything about it because nobody can do anything about it because these people are at such scale that really when when Hughes, this artist, talks about Komi-san, and all these people just jump on him to such a degree that he's just not going to draw that character. Not going to draw that character anymore. Like what are we doing? And it's not a thick skin thing. It's not a
I see where you're going.
It's concerning to me that that this dude is an expecting father, got harassed to such a and it's not that this just started.
No,
it's been going on for months.
No, yeah, this is not recent. This has been happening for a while.
Yeah, so it concerns me that an expecting father who's been under this kind of harassment for months tries to kill himself, and we're talking about we're turning this into a thick skin issue.
Yeah,
that's concerning to me, because it's telling me that we're not gonna that the concern is on the people getting harassed and not on the people doing the harassing, and wondering what this mentality is, and wondering why that's allowed to continue.
And again, this is one case. This is a more public one that we've been seeing, but this is just one of many of these type of idiotic crusades people go on. And you're starting to see this actually start to cross the border now too, in the sense that there's people actually bothering Japanese artists and shit.
Yep.
Like you said, not even just posting things, but actively cussing them out, trying to report them to Tokyo authorities, all kinds of shit. And it's like, wow. Now, I do think part of this is because of there's been a mass exodus from Tumblr, and now they're on, Twitter, and the same kind of people that were giving people death threats over ships and stuff are now on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you that's an element of it.
I mean, obviously I can't be alone in thinking that. Like, I mean,
I find it funny that they mass exited on Exodus Tumblr, because Tumblr was banning lewds, and went on to shit on people over lewds on Twitter.
Yeah, there's just a lot of weird, and of course, one of the other new things that we've been seeing, it's relatively new. I guess it's not entirely so, but this furries versus weebs thing, which I find more comical than anything else. It's like that Spider-Man picture.
Oh yeah.
Where the two Spider-Mans are pointing at each other. I mean, that's what it looks like from outside of it.
The furry community has their own problems that they refuse to acknowledge.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It really is. It's one of these things where you're sitting there and it's like, well, all viewpoints being equal, your mom's a hoe.
And listen, I don't want to turn this into the argue with Zeke Freak segment, but listen, Zeke, I'm not trying to erase Twitter. I'm trying to get people to question whether they're
you're basically saying it's not worth taking
weigh your positives with the negatives. I'm saying, yeah, sure, I get it. I've had great interactions on this platform too. Yes, that's happened. But there's also constant harassment and constant fighting over nothing, and like this is serious stuff. And yes, no. And he closes out that line with, my experience isn't your experience or anyone else's. And I'm not talking about my experience. I'm talking about what I see, and what I see isn't good. And the idea isn't to take down Twitter. The idea is for people to question how much value this platform's given them compared to how much it allows to happen.
I understand what you're getting at. You're basically saying it's not worth making 1.5 friend or whatever to deal with this kind of stupid shit. and
or
it's really
maybe
not.
it is. But what I'm saying is weigh that, understand what's happening to some people, and weigh that. And don't worry, this isn't just Anubis shits on Twitter, because I do
Anubis shits on the bird.
I do like to come from a frame of solutions. All right, because
That should be the title.
here's the thing: what is it about Twitter that is so particularly valuable to anime fans?
I don't know if it's just
I know what else. Also, I got an answer. It's because it's the faster response time.
I mean, that's part of it, but also because it's one of those, the way it operates, you see people that post stuff in real time, like they're watching shows and whatnot, and you see a lot of people do that. But that also plays kind of into that seasonal culture you're talking about. At least you were talking about earlier anyway, which I actually think is, as a concept, is actually not really a net positive for anime.
You don't even need Twitter to have a seasonal anime culture.
No, but I do think the culture itself is a net negative.
Though, but you don't need Twitter for that.
I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not really on most social media. I'll just be blunt. I find most of it stupid.
Yeah,
the only reason
you're inching toward my point, K-Gods. You're inching toward my point.
But the reason I actually don't just completely bail is I have friends there that I can't talk to anywhere else. They're stubborn and won't like interact in something else. They don't have Discords or anything like that.
Certainly.
And
which is why I'm not advocating for getting 100% rid of Twitter.
Oh, no. And if anything's going to get rid of Twitter, it'll be lawsuits from other people, not us.
Thinks I'm arguing. I'm not, and I don't think Zeke is getting my point. I'm not trying to, he says, yeah, Zeke in the IRC. I've weighed that, but what do you want me to do about it? Listen, if you're okay with the platform, that's cool in the gang. I'm telling, for people who maybe haven't thought about this, telling people what's going on, telling people what other sectors of this subculture are doing on the platform.
Well,
and part of it, I think part of the reason that Zeke is battling me on this is that I've yet to articulate what I would rather do.
Possibly. I think part of the problem isn't just on Twitter, though. I think there's a problem at large beyond that. With social media, we're seeing, like, even if I don't even know how I want to approach this. I mean, like, take politics. That's a volatile sort of, thing. People get all antsy and uppity about.
We don't want to talk politics. We don't want people to get mad on this podcast. Heavens forbid.
Well, beyond that, though, is you'll see the same kind of stuff. People being called this or that because of their political views.
K-Gods gets mad. Anubis gets mad. The third.
Yeah, this is we're past that.
Okay.
But you know what I mean, though? At the macro level, society seems to be doing that. So when you shrink it back down to the micro level with a niche hobby like anime, people are still doing it. And it actually seems even worse because it's more concentrated.
I would disagree in that it's in that anime is simply a microcosm of what's going on further in society. Because other niches I'm involved in don't have this kind of infighting. Like the airsoft community isn't out here calling people pedophiles over using, or you use the friggin', you use the ANK Magpul Masada with the vertical foregrip, you're a pedophile. You don't hear that from the airsoft community.
Yeah, I get your point. I said
that
out
of the gaming community. You don't hear that. You don't hear. Oh well, no, microcosms of the gaming community. because the gaming community is too large, and quite frankly, the gaming community, like the airsoft, like the anime community, is
It's pretty bad.
Well, no, it's too large to really be considered one cohesive community.
Well, yeah.
But
Okay,
I'm
fair
saying
enough.
you don't
But
hear
I
from
did say
the Ace
earlier.
Combat 7 community, oh, you use the SU-30SM, you must be a misogynist. So that doesn't happen.
Right. Well, like I said earlier in the show, there's something about anime and its fandom that cultivates that. I don't know exactly what it is, but there is definitely something in the water, so to speak, with anime.
Part of it is because, like the gaming fandom, there's no cohesiveness, there's no cohesion between various sectors of the anime fandom.
That's true, because even in disparate sectors, people are still like that, though, which is weird.
Well, like you'll see, like the smaller communities will get along with each other.
That's true, and that's something else I've noticed that's kind of weird. Is that, and this was something I noticed in the gaming community as a whole. People that were more into older games, like, I don't know, NES, Genesis, just PS2 and before,
Yeah,
roughly, acted a lot more civil about disagreements than people that came in on board later.
it's the internet age.
Because, like, if you go to, like, GameFAQs and you go to their forums that they have for every game, you know, the ones that got hostile were newer games, no question. Like, nobody was in the Punch-Out thing calling for somebody's head. You know?
So Zeke continues in the RSC, and he's getting closer to my point, but he's not completely there. I think the issue is that that anime needs to shrink or expand. I think the size of it at the moment is a problematic zone. It's like the opposite of habitable zones in space. Small is good, super large is good, because it splits into small again. Medium, you're in trouble.
I can understand that. I see where he's going with that.
Part of the issue in anime in particular is that a lot of the thought leaders in anime are out here within these micro groups,
Orbits, if you
slinging
will.
shit at other micro groups. So it creates a hierarchy where some of the micro groups are on the bottom. So
not only that,
if you happen to like a certain kind of cartoon, it's okay to call you a pedophile, which is one big reason I'm saying maybe we need to weigh the worth of Twitter to anime people. But where I'm getting at is, listen, Twitter's a massive platform. If all we're doing is following anime people on Twitter, do we really need this? Do we really need the massive platform? Is it necessary to have it was something like some significant fraction? I don't even know how many people are on Twitter. It's some ridiculous number. But do we need to use the platform that has that many people on it if we're just going to talk about Japanese cartoons?
I think part of that is a lot of, like, the artists and stuff are on there, and they're not going to follow you over into your own little curated forum.
A lot of them did when Twitter banned Lolly.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
that Pawu thing on Mastodon.
Okay, fair enough. But what I mean more like is if you created a forum specifically for us or whatever, I mean, like, Satoshi Urishihara is not going to join. As cool as that would be.
Do we need Satoshi Urishihara specifically? Like, are we gonna talk to Satoshi Urishihara? Like, are we gonna have a chat with Satoshi Urishihara? Is that gonna happen? I'm talking about like people like us, regular ass anime people.
Yeah, I realize that, but like I said, that's kind of the difference though, because on Twitter you have people that exist on the higher aspect of the creation ladder that you can kind of interact with.
Yeah, we don't. Who interacts with them?
Well, when I say interacts with, you consume whatever they're posting.
Okay, so I'm gonna so I'll have a Twitter account and I'll just follow Satoshi Rishihara. I'll just follow all the people, and when they post their stuff, okay, like, save the picture, and cool, and that's all I'll do. And I don't need to interact with anyone.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, you've got to realize there's lots of people who want both of these things at the same time. In fact, a lot of people joined Twitter just so they could follow around celebrities.
Yeah,
I agree with K.
That's one of the reasons I didn't want to join it.
Well, yes, I understand that. I'm talking about we all acknowledge we've met people on Twitter who are cool. I'm saying, is the massive platform necessary to interact with cool people?
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. And as far as like, much like having a Discord server where you can actively curate it, which is kind of what a lot of people are doing now.
Much like having a Discord server where you set and here's the crux of what I'm talking about. A place where you can control the rules and can punish people when they break the rules.
And you don't, yeah, exactly. I mean,
because Twitter, you can report people who
there's
knows
only
if they're going to get to it.
Yeah.
Listen, I listened to that Joe Rogan podcast where they brought Jack from Twitter back on.
I've heard it was just wince-inducing.
And Tim Pool was there, and I'll say this: I question how well Twitter's reporting feature works. I question how well that's going to help me and the people who I care to interact with. So, and this is the thing I've been on for a while, not necessarily on the podcast, but just generally, is that we've gotten really lazy as far as people talking about Japanese cartoons on the internet.
Oh yeah.
It's like, remember PHPBB? Freaking message boards and forums. Remember that was I'll
give you another example.
Method of exchange. Remember Gaia Online? I remember that shit.
Hey, I mean, there's some remnants of that old kind of personality still there, like Random Curiosity, where you've got these incredibly dedicated people.
Well, yeah, we talked about this with Maury back on the anime blogging episode. Like
that's insane to me that that's even still there.
Back in the day, back in 2011, when I started CheeseLostControl.net, everyone had their own anime blog.
Yeah, like everybody had one. Even if it wasn't good, they had one.
You look at some of these people's blog roles and I'm like, wow, this person knows a lot of people. And it was everyone's just following each other's anime blogs, and everyone had their own anime blog.
It was kind of like a more sophisticated version of something that used to exist, which was a web ring.
Yep.
Like, and some people are like, what the fuck is he talking about? It's like, you guys were too young for anime web turnpike.
I was just thinking that.
Which by the way, it's still there if you want to check out links that don't work. and uncover the ruins of old places that nobody uses anymore, like Fortune City and GeoCities.
Real talk.
Like Angel Fire.
So everyone had their own anime blog, and once Twitter got real big with anime people, everyone got real lazy.
They did.
And decided, we're just gonna be on Twitter now.
And the sad thing is
that's cool. I actually don't have that much of a problem with that paradigm. But what I'm saying is, if you're only interested in talking to anime people, and you don't have delusions that you're gonna be palling around with like Satoshi Urushihara, maybe is the biggest platform necessary for you to do that?
I will say,
Could we do this on a more curated platform? Can
I
we
get
do
what you're
this
saying.
on a place where we can
sometimes
tailor the
bigger
rules
is more
to
noticeable to the mass, but unfortunately, you
why?
get most of the
Why do we
crap.
need to be noticeable to the mass? What value is that?
Well, okay. Yeah. I'm down.
I understand what he's getting at. He's trying to point out that a small curated community is going to have less trouble overall.
Because we all complained when Twitter banned lolly porn, and I'm like, there's no part of me that's surprised about that, because
No.
Twitter is not catering to anime fans.
No, it is by far and large a place where people post what they ate.
It is the mass market platform, and why do we need
Okay, now I'm seeing where you're getting.
Yeah, why do we need to be all up on the Walmart of social platforms?
I see where you're going with it. You're basically saying something I've thought about myself, which is, if anime is a niche, and it kind of is, why would you try to make something that is for the average Joe Six-Pack, Joe Donut guy as the way you get that across?
Yeah.
Because it's not tailor-made for that at all.
Yeah, why are we trying to have our niche conversations in our niche with our own social mores and our own little social rules, quote unquote, but we're trying to
I think people just
around the biggest social media platform, or I don't know if it's the biggest. I think Instagram is actually bigger. One of the biggest social media platforms in existence. Like, why do we do that? Why do we need to be on one of the biggest platforms when it would be it's not hard. People got lazy, but it's not hard. It wouldn't be difficult to create our own curated platform where we can enforce the very specific rules of the anime community there. Well, we can have conversations with people who understand us and not have to deal with the lack of understanding that comes from using the Walmart of social media platforms.
Okay, that reminds me though. It does bring to mind something that I've thought for a while now, and I think the reason people like Twitter is because of the way it works, is the actual /algorithms and the way people interact. They just don't like how it's run. But they like it from a mechanism standpoint, if you know what I mean.
I'm with you. So
like if somebody could create like an equivalency, like, and I know I don't mean Gab.
Well, Gab has its own problems.
Yeah, many of which are that they're just as big of censorious types as they are. That it's just about other shit.
Yeah.
I never even heard of that.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah. I'm sure.
It's like, okay, I'll make, it's a bit of a tangent, but I think I need to point it out. It's like they created this idea called dissenter.
Oh yeah, dissenter.
Okay, which is actually starting to take off a little bit. Fair enough. But it still has one really big fatal flaw / problem that kind of makes it pointless. And that's, you have to actually have it installed to see the comments. Okay? And random people that would be pissed off by what you're posting aren't going to see it because they're not going to do that.
Right.
And thus, the only people that will see it are the people who either A, already agree with you, or are chanter types that just like being a shit disturber. So, you're not giving people information they need to see. Like, if, like, oh, they're lying about this, I'm going to post about it on Dissenter. Then people who already know they're lying about it are going to see it.
It's like I was talking about just not too long ago about Twitter. It's like you're
just swapping out, who's tending the jail.
Well, it's like nobody's gonna specifically say, okay, I'm gonna install Dissenter on and go look at stuff that's going to piss them off. Like if people know,
here we go.
Know the association, people know that. Oh, okay, people likely to say things that are gonna upset me are gonna be using this. So why am I gonna expose myself to that?
Exactly. Like, you really think the quote unquote soy boys are going to see that shit? They're not. They're not going to install that. Why would they do that? Why? I'm going to show them. No, you're not. The only people who see it are the people that you want to high five. Anyway, Zeke has a good point here. People like the concept of Twitter more than they like Twitter. Bingo.
Bingo.
They like the idea, and like that's basically a more succinct thing of what I said, which is that they like how it operates. They don't actually like how it's run.
Exactly.
The idea of, I post things, you post things, we go back and forth, we send DMs, we laugh, we like and favorite things. Yeah, that basic idea, they like it. That's why they ran to Gab. When they thought they were, and even saying that out loud makes me want to punch myself in the stomach.
I don't know how far I'd go saying anyone ran to Gab.
Well, okay, that's why a certain subsect that felt they were being censored and booted off went to Gab, because they like the idea of it. It's the same thing with Minds and all this other shit. It's not going to work, but I understand why they did it. It's just one of those things where ultimately, though, you're just creating a more closed off.
Well, the idea is all these particular other platforms we're talking about don't do anything. They don't do anything different.
They don't do anything to make themselves stand out. They're like, we're just like Twitter, but we allow conservatives. Okay, if you're not a conservative, that's not really a very big draw, is it?
That's not a sustainable business model,
and it's also not fucking true. Quite frankly, I mean, they'll ban you for certain things on there, so it's not really free speech.
Yeah,
it's okay. I know exactly what it is. It's Conservapedia. That the Wikipedia variant they made because some dude got butt mad because they started using CE instead of AD.
Right.
Which, sorry to tell you, that's the global standard at this point. That's kind of one of those things you have to deal with when you don't have a cultural hegemon anymore. The guys in China don't fucking care, Anyway,
yeah,
but
this is something I've been on for a while. It's
the point is more people aren't going to use Conservapedia because Wikipedia did that. The same people, it's not going to grow as a user base. It's going to be about the same amount of people coming and going, which means, like you said, it's not sustainable. There has to be some level of growth, or it's just going to stagnate and die. Even Twitter's having that problem in the sense that lots of people are leaving, and since they don't really run blatant ads, they're not generating enough revenue. Supposedly, I mean,
Twitter's got different problems, but here's the thing about the anime community in particular. We don't have to grow as far as talking to people socially to be sustainable like that.
Well, no, ours isn't our want of doing it is purely social. It's not a profit vector of any kind.
So it doesn't really matter where we go. We just need, it has to be a place where we can tailor the rules to our own standards. And listen, there's some options. I've been looking into alternative, more open source social media where all the source code is available. So it's not like they can just go and steal your data without you knowing that they're stealing your data, because it would be in the code.
And let's be real here. If you're on social media, they're stealing your data.
Well, yeah, they're taking your data because they're selling it.
Yeah, it's data mining. Absolutely. If you think they're not, well, first off, I don't know what to tell you. You're naive. Like if you use any kind of free service like that, you are the product. I don't know how many times this needs to be said until people get it. If it costs money, the chances are it's probably not operating on that model because it doesn't need to.
Right.
But
it's not, nothing's for free. You're giving them something and they're going to sell it.
yeah, quite frankly, all this data is probably in some giant fucking bank over in some sort of data bank in China or some kind of multinational corporation somewhere. It just, yeah, we went over that before. That's, although it's a little bit off topic, but did you see the absolutely hilarious people were trying to shill for Dissenter and Wombat just laid into him?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That shit was pretty fucking funny. And then they started going on about cryptocurrency, and he nailed him on that, which is like, yeah, that's totally not used for illegal activities.
Yeah. But yeah, I know Mastodon has its own problems, but at the very least, it allows this kind of thing to happen. Because remember when Twitter banned Lolly, a whole lot of Pixiv artists switched over to Pawu, which is the Pixiv's own Mastodon instance.
Yes.
And they have their own rules. And because it's run by Pixiv, it's got Pixiv rules. And Pixiv rules are not Twitter rules, because Pixiv doesn't have to appeal to the mass of people using Twitter. So all I'm saying is question whether it's necessary to use one of the biggest social media accounts, the biggest social media services, if all we're doing is talking about cartoons. That's what I'm saying to question. Question whether it's any Twitter specifically. I'm not saying the idea of talking about anime with people on the internet, or the idea of having a debate about cartoons with people on the internet, or the idea of making friends and whatnot. I'm not saying to question whether that idea is worth the harassment and whatnot that goes on Twitter. I'm saying to question whether all those being on Twitter is worth that.
All right. I think we should.
That's kind of your food for thought.
Yeah.
Kind of thought. I am. Make no mistake. Some of the shit I see on Twitter, and this is all very recent, by the way. It makes me livid and makes me wonder why nobody said, hey, why nobody's ever questioned why do we need to be on the biggest platform, and why is it not an option for us to say, maybe we should scale back and be in a place with our own rules instead of dealing with all these shit people who nobody's going to do anything about for however long it takes until someone actually gets killed because some people decided you watch the wrong cartoon, so you're a pedophile.
I think some people just have that attention whore thing where they gotta have as much attention as possible, even if it's bad.
And you know what? I'm gonna leave those people on Twitter.
Gotta be attention
you-
whore.
you-
Twitter man.
And like nobody who here's the thing. Nobody, and listen, and again, I'm going to qualify myself. I say nobody. I guarantee you, there's some very damaged people who will completely joss this assertion I'm going to make, but nobody who's that level of an attention seeker who's going to stay on Twitter because it's the largest platform and because they get that exposure, even though it's negative. No, you're not going to see a whole hell of a lot of those people who are also the people who are going to be the person who gets harassed for months over a lolly dojin and attempt to kill themselves because of it. It's not the same people.
All right, I think we should leave it at there.
That is indeed the show.
All right.
The email address is ntrradio@gmail.com. The website is ntrradio.net. Check out VZ stuff, VZMK2, moemekagatai.wordpress.com. Also, check out the Big Book of Idols at thebigbookofIdols.com.
How's the printing situation for those?
I will let you know when I have a meaningful update on that.
Okay, fair enough.
Hit up iyashike.moe for all your various articles of interest to people on the otaku lifestyle. Also, iyashike.moe/store for the shirts.
What shirts?
It's still pretty cold out there. You might need one.
Yes, indeed. This is going to be hilarious considering what we just talked about, but I am on Twitter at TAnubis. VZ is on Twitter at VZMK2. KGods is on Twitter at immortal_KGods. The show at NTR Radio.
Yeah, it's like, we don't like Twitter.
Yeah,
but
fuck Twitter. By the way, follow me on Twitter.
Yes.
Siegfried's got a podcast, the Baka Gaijin Show. Check that out and listen to it because it's really good. And he won't lie to you about Aniplex anymore.
But he did say this episode was invalidated.
Yes, indeed.
Your integrity has shattered. Because that's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
What integrity? I'm KGods.
I'm VZ Mark II.
And even though we refuse to engage with younger fans every time we say it, this is NTR Radio.